Welcome to the Best Xpress podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever. I'm Chad.
And I'm John.
And today's going to be a very interesting podcast because we're, figuring it out as we go along. How are you doing, John?
I am very sleep deprived.
And it shows because you're kind of a little more muted than usual.
Usually, yeah. It's I tried going to sleep at around 3 a.m., but I found it was too hot, and it was too cold, and it was too hot again. Then when I finally got to sleep, somebody freaking called me from the Scotiabank looking for my sister on my cell phone.
So I guess you're the contact now for her.
I don't know how that managed to work, because that's kind of like impossible realistically, because I have a bank account there, but I don't have a credit card, where my sister has a credit card there but doesn't have a bank account.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure it's one of those cases where they're trying to get her to switch her RRSP or some bullshit like that, because the Royal Bank perpetually calls, and even though she calls them up and says, "Stop calling me."
Yeah, I really, really hate robocalls, and that's pretty much, exactly describes a robocall. Oh, wait a minute, we'll dial you up, and if you answer, then we're going to talk to you. If you don't answer, then we just, leave an automated message.
And perpetually call you back and back and back and back and back for more than a year.
What a load of shit.
Yeah, well, they gotta make a buck somehow, but yeah. So, how is your old iPhone 4 coming along? Because I heard you.
Okay, so I was looking online for iPhone parts, and I found that they're relatively inexpensive, especially if you order them from out east. So, what I did was I actually went ahead and ordered some parts. So I ordered a new battery, ordered a new home key, ordered a new set of screws, because I actually stripped the screws to access the phone. So that was beautiful. And then when I put it all together, I'm like, oh, okay, it kind of works, It's sort of new again. Sorta. One small snag, the guy who installed it for me fucked the digitizer.
Oh.
Yeah, so he replaced the screen for me, which is all cool. Although, my original iPhone was black. And the replacement piece ended up being white because the lot one he ordered didn't fit. So he ordered a second one just to play it safe.
Yeah.
Which is cool and all. I was like, okay, whatever to get it working. I don't care. So I get it back and I'm thinking, okay, well, I need to charge the battery. I realize, fuck, I forgot to buy the new charger.
Another charger?
Yeah, the new charge port for the phone, because the charge port on the phone was also fucked.
Oh, so you didn't get
so I just ordered that one like yesterday.
Okay, so you're not looking for the head. You have to look for the port on the phone.
Yeah. So basically, as soon as that comes in, I left it for him to actually, fix that too.
Yeah, I was watching online too how to replace these charging ports, and it takes 35 seconds to switch ports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just not very technically inclined to actually open up my own iPhone to do the job. As technically inclined I am in general, but the thing is that, I'm, once I get the part, I'm more likely to actually sit there and let it sit on the shelf for a while before I say, oh, now I have time to do this after, twiddling my thumbs, playing World of Warcraft and doing other shit that will take up my other time. And then I realize I'm no longer doing. I no longer have a subscription. Mm-hmm. I'm no longer twiddling my thumbs, and I need to get stuff done. All of a sudden, I have time to actually do it again, and all of a sudden, I start doing it. So that's my inherent problem. I procrastinate too much.
That's apparently my inherent problem as well.
So it's better if I get somebody else to take care of that for me. I'm like, cool. All right. If you're willing to do it, you're willing to do it. Awesome. And free, even better.
Yeah. So he fixed your iPhone for free?
Yeah. He says, as long as I get the parts for it, he'll take care of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Because I was looking into iPhone repairs for one of my aunts or cousins or so forth. The labor is actually not that bad. At most I ever paid was probably $30, right? Yeah.
Because I look at YouTube. I look at the YouTube videos. It's pretty straightforward. I was actually half tempted to actually buy a little LED light for the back of my phone at one point, and the kit for it. I was thinking, okay, I could do that. I could do that myself. And I realized I'm a lazy fuck. There's no way I'm going to do it myself.
and then again, you are also trying to put life into a 4-year-old phone.
Technically, it's 5.
iPhone 4. 5,
actually, no. Yeah, you're right. 4.
5.
Yeah.
No, you probably is 5. Yeah.
Coming up on 5, actually.
Yeah, so, it's 4, not 4S, right?
Yeah. 4,
so yeah,
4S.
So it's 5.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, something that I'm thinking. Well, this phone's going to be pretty much a phone which I'm going to the States, and if I lose it, it's not something I'm going to cry over.
Yeah.
Right. Other than the fact that I lost some personal stuff on there. Okay. Well, time to go and log into iTunes and wipe the fucker, which I can do anyways.
Okay, that's pretty cool, actually. So one thing about Apple products, I'm kind of amazed by the fact that you can remote wipe the phone.
Yeah, that's the handy thing about it.
Yeah.
Well, you can also do that with any Android-based phone too. You can actually go in there and then just log off your phone.
Remote log off your phone.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to figure out how to do that.
Yeah. Samsung also has a service which will allow you to actually wipe the phone from anywhere you're at if you lose the phone. Right? So if you were to say, oh, I lost my phone, or it's probably stolen, then all you have to do is log back onto your computer, and if you're logged into Samsung's if you do the Samsung login and everything else in registration, you can actually log into your Samsung account and say, oh, wipe the phone.
Fair enough. Half the time when people steal the phone, they should be smart enough to wipe the thing. But then again, how many times have you heard somebody steal some guy's iPad and he turns it on and there's a message, I see you, fucker.
Well, those are the people who actually want their stuff back, right? And let's face it, if there's nothing really heavily important on the iPad, but you still want it back, of course you're not going to wipe it.
Well, no, I'm referring to the guy who stole the damn thing. And
of course, you're not, you yourself who've lost the iPad are not going to wipe it. You're going to use it to find the guy.
Yeah, actually, the thing is, they found the guy through the GPS sensor, right?
Yeah,
positioning, and they have a picture of the guy too because he was posting selfies on Facebook.
Yes, yeah. One thing you don't want to do is to use that phone to post selfies or to take selfies with, because who knows? It can go on the guy's cloud. Yep. He can access his own fucking cloud still, for crying out loud.
Actually, that's exactly what happened. It went on his cloud. It also he had an app to actually view through the camera.
Yeah.
And they caught the guy, which is hilarious.
Oh, of course.
Just kind of reminds me of the bank robber who robbed a bank and decided to take selfies with himself with the loot on his Facebook. And the thing is, he was very easily to recognize because he has a tattooed face.
Of course. Some people.
Yeah, and you also fixed your Asus.
My Nexus 7.
Yeah.
The first generation Nexus 7. So I got a new battery for it because the battery died on it.
Yeah.
And I also replaced the charge port. So, I can properly charge it and I can play it and whatnot. And it's new. And you know what? Remember that HP tablet I won?
Mm-hmm.
I use it a lot less now. But it's going to get, that HP tablet is going to get some use next month because I'm lending it to my brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I can throw some movies onto a flash drive, hook it up with an OTG, and basically he can just, let his kids watch stuff off of it. So, because they're going on a cruise.
I give it 4 months before it breaks.
Yeah. Whatevs.
Yeah.
If it breaks, it's still under warranty with HP.
Oh, yeah.
If they drop it, that's another story.
Yeah. Yeah, because let's see. I have my LG, was it G3? I had to send it back for warranty because there's a big dot in the middle of the friggin' screen.
Ah, the dead pixel.
And actually, it's a weird discoloration. So, I don't know. I have to send it back. This is the first phone I ever had to send back. So I had to jump back with my giant 6.4-inch Sony phone.
That's the Note...
the Z Ultra.
Oh, the Z Ultra.
Yeah, which I'm still kind of kicking myself for not getting a second one when it was $350 at the computer store.
Yeah. You know, those weren't too bad. The only thing is I didn't really care for the size.
Well, the thing is, if you're going to buy a phone for the size and you complain about the size, you miss the point of the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Hence why I don't, buy huge phones. Like, I was going to play, I was thinking of buying the Note 3 at the time, too, before I got the Galaxy S5. And, of course, they never got back to me about getting the the Note 3. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's interesting. Oh, but the new S5 is coming out, thanks to, my service provider. And I'm like, yeah, I'll put myself on the waiting list for that one.
Okay. But I don't know. I like the one thing I liked about the phone is basically the size of your phone is this slightly smaller than the size of my screen.
Yeah, it's not that big. It's about 5 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the Note S3 at the time was considered large at around, 5?
The Note 3? The Note 3 was still the second biggest screen at 5.7.
Yeah. So it was just a little bit under the Note 3 in terms of size, which I was fine with because I was like, whatever, I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
Right.
At least I like now that the Samsung, there's the difference between the Note and their flagship phone is just the Note has a pen.
Yeah. I think they're up to what, Note 5s now?
The Note 5 and the S6?
S6 Edge. Yeah. A lot of people are not too happy with the Edge.
A lot of people is not too happy with the Note as well, considering that, okay, have you read the problems with the thing?
I believe on the side of the screen, it prevents it from locking, or if it's locked, it prevents it from unlocking.
Yeah.
Which is the major issue.
Well, the other problem, obviously, if it isn't dramatically obvious, it's made of glass.
Yeah.
Right? The one that tends to shatter if you tap on it.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching a demonstration, right? So he's like, yeah, I'm tapping on the back of the screen, and somehow he cracked it with his finger. Right.
I wouldn't doubt it.
And then, of course, the other thing, which I was really surprised by, is the lens cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that apparently cracks real easy.
Yeah.
You don't have a removable battery. You have no option to upgrade the memory, so you have to buy the 64 gig or the 128, which is really expensive.
Yep.
And then, other than that, I'm still, like, I sat there yesterday trying to think of, if I were to get a new phone, which one would I buy? And so currently the best phone in the world happens to be that friggin' iPhone 6S.
Yeah.
Plus, right?
And the worst thing is that I'm considering picking one of those up if I ever have to, replace my, Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, let's face it, as of next year, well, when 2016 hits, I think I got this phone in April.
Mm-hmm. When
that comes up, that's the end of my second year.
Yeah. So, the only, okay, I thought about, okay, you know what? How much would it cost me to get into an iPhone, right? So, here's the deal, right? Are you ready for this? If I were to buy the iPhone with taxes, it's $1,600.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, of course, that's the 128 version. If I get the 64 gig version, that's $1,300.
Yeah.
So basically, I could have got myself a really powerful gaming laptop for the price of a freaking phone.
Exactly.
Now, if I were to do the plan bit where they give you a discount on your phone, which is, by the way, $600, right?
Yep.
Which is a fundamentally significant discount. The only problem is I have to basically get a plan that is minimum of $90.
Yes.
And I would lose majority of the freedom I have with my current plan because I would have to go down to like 400 minutes anytime calling. I lose my unlimited weekend. I drop my data usage down to 400 megabytes from my 2 gigs.
Ouch.
And I have to pay $90 a month. Because I'm paying $60 a month. I have unlimited calling across Canada all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 gigs data.
Yeah.
Unlimited texting and blah, 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 blah. And that's $60, right?
Yeah.
So then, because Apple gets a portion of the plan.
Yeah.
I think they get $20 off of it, and the rest of it goes to the company and bullshit, right? So that's kind of like, holy shit. And then, of course, I watch on reviews on these phones. So we got this one woman who does vlogs and whatever she does, and she only does tech reviews only when it comes to her iPhone. And she only got a replacement after last year's model. And she had to buy it from TELUS at full price.
Yeah.
But then again, I think TELUS has a payment plan. But still, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. Where I'm working at, I got a push bell.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, well, you got to push bell. But the question is, do you get a discount on the phone?
No.
You get a discount on the plan?
No.
So if you were to push bell and switch over the bell, you still have to pay $90 a month for your iPhone, and of course,
at least my plan will be a lot better than yours.
For Bell, have you looked at the friggin' iPhone plans?
Yeah. Okay. The iPhone plan will be considered as a regular smartphone plan. The smartphone plan basically is, it'll be definitely a little over $90, but at least you'll still have the 2 gig data, unlimited talk and text nationwide.
Okay.
But a little bit.
I may have to double check on that because I know, because the one I was looking at was for Rogers and Fido.
Yeah. And
they both rape you up the ass for the freaking phone.
Yeah. Which is why I'm also considering getting out of Rogers.
Honestly, you should have gotten out of Rogers and just went to Fido.
Yeah, right? I could have. I could still probably jump over to Fido once it's over, right?
Well, yeah, as of right now, if you keep your phone, then you can get my phone. Actually, here's the sick part. Right now, if you were to get the exact same plan as I have, it'll be $80. But if you bring your own phone, it'll be $60.
Yeah.
Right? Which is still kind of like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Right.
And I will still have access to Roger Towers and everything else.
Yeah, Roger Towers.
If I pay a little extra money for that.
What?
Then, if I remember correctly, Fido used to actually have a, you could use, okay, essentially you're on Fido, essentially on the Fido network. However, if you paid extra, if I remember correctly, when they got merged with Rogers, you could pay an extra $5 to have access to the Rogers Towers. Not anymore? Okay, no. So they changed that.
Yeah, they changed it a long time ago.
Okay.
I have the same connection, like I have three plans in my house. My dad's with Rogers, I'm with Fido, and my mother's with Chatter. We have the same connection. So in our house, it's always full bars.
Okay.
Right? So regardless of wherever we go, we have the same connection quality and sound quality and blah, blah, blah. And the phones are interchangeable, so you don't have to unlock your phone to go with Fido. No matter how much the salesperson says it's not true. Right?
Of course.
We'll get into that in a couple of minutes because I need to vent on that asshole, right?
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, they basically they had to give up the Fido network because I think neither Mobilicity or Wind took it over.
Okay.
Right. So right now, Chatter, Fido, and Rogers, no matter how much they tell you, you're on the same network. Because I can tell you how many times I turn on my phone, it says Rogers on it. Right.
Of course.
Yeah. So, my mother, my parents are going back to Vietnam, right? So, they basically said, okay, let's gather all our old BlackBerry, which nobody uses, and all the excess of garbage phones we have, and we're just going to give them to the people in Vietnam. They can use their phones or whatever, unlock it, and so on. Okay. Sure, no problem. And so my mother finally decided to switch over to the S3. which has been sitting in this room for like the longest time gathering dust. Because all my dad uses for is to Bluetooth with the vibrating chair for the back massage to play the Vietnamese music.
Of course.
Yeah. So then she said, okay, so she's finally learning how to swipe for the first time in 4 years, right? But she has to buy a new SIM card. So I went to, was it Guilford?
Yeah.
Basically the first chatter place I could find just to buy the $10 SIM card, right?
Yeah.
So the guy says, oh, you're on Chatter. You know, you should switch over to a better quality network. Because it's better quality.
Yeah.
Right. So then, of course, you know, I'm kind of in a hurry, or else I would have talked to this guy, right? So, okay, let me try to explain this. Define better quality, because as far as I know, every time I switch up from, like, say, Chatter, Fido, and Rogers, I have to pay more for less. So I have to pay more money for less minutes, for less usage and less functions, because on Chatter, it's like $20, unlimited calling.
Yeah.
No data, nothing. It's just basically no contract. You have your phone, you pay for your time, and you're using it, right? Unlimited, which is perfect because all my mother uses to talk to people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So then this guy's like, oh, it's like, Chatter is, it's the redhead stepchild of the Rogers network, right?
The fact you mentioned it's Rogers network.
Yeah. And it's like, it worked fine. I get perfect reception, unlike Win or Mobilicity or Telus. And like, I haven't used Bell, but you know, I know a few people use Bell, and as far as I know, they don't like it.
Yeah, I guess it varies depending on where you're at, because there are some Bell towers here and there, but not everywhere. And I know they kind of are kind of working in tandem with Telus on this side of the country. But when they say, "Oh, it's the fastest network in Canada," maybe.
Well, if you ever done a speed test with Bell, it is the fastest.
Yeah.
It's not the most reliable, but it is the fastest.
Yeah. You know, like I said, it may be, you know, and again, you know, it depends on where you are at. Because if you're close to the major city centers, of course it's going to be the fastest.
Yeah. If you're right beside the Bell Tower in Burnaby, it works great. But if you're in like the buttfuck of Surrey, it doesn't work too well.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and again, you know, it depends on deepest, darkest Surrey you're in, too. Because, you know, or deepest, darkest any part of, you know, Fraser Valley. You know.
Yeah. But anyways, back to this guy. He basically was going on about better quality. I'm saying, is that your sales pitch? Is that, like, I actually said to the guy, is that your sales pitch for trying to get me to switch over to another network? Because, you know, we're kind of really happy paying $20 for unlimited talk, because, you know, Rogers and Fido don't have that for $20. I'm looking to pay at least $60 for that. So I'm paying an extra $40 for what? A better phone, better quality network? Define that. Of course, he finally clued into the fact that I know what the hell I'm talking about, because I'm telling him that, look, I have all three companies at my house, right? And I switch phones back and forth without unlocking them, so I know they work, considering I buy the Samsung and whatever, right?
Exactly.
So then it says, oh, I'll just sell you the SIM card. Okay. Just sell me the SIM card like I asked and stop wasting my fucking time, right? So then, of course, you know, he's like, I gave him the money, whatever. He's like, can I have the receipt, please? Oh, you want a receipt? Yes, I want a receipt for every single purchase I ever bought, because I used to work in retail, just in case, right? So, okay, so apparently they've never printed a receipt before in their entire life, because they press print. I had to wait 10 minutes for the damn thing to print.
So they don't have to print contracts or anything with that.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's full of shit.
It's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they gave me a, 8.5 by 11 printed receipt of a $10 thing. It's like, fine, whatever. Just in case the thing doesn't work, because it does happen, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you bought it from here? Do you have the receipt? Well, you didn't give me one. Oh, because we never gave it to one. So obviously we never sold it to you. It's like,
exactly.
So that's wireless wave, people.
Oh my God! And you wonder why MacStation, got shut down.
No, I don't know why they got shut down.
They're owned by the same company from Wireless Wave.
Really?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I actually, I think last month I tried to actually check out their website, and it goes, as of X date, we're shutting down all our stores. I'm thinking, wow. So I go back, I take a look, I'm like, okay, so let's find out who their parent company is. So I click on the link to their parent company, and under the companies that they have, Wireless Wave was one of them.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah. So, yeah, great training, guys.
Yeah. It's like better quality. It's like,
yeah.
So
by the way, I hear they're hiring.
Fucking integrity kicking me in the balls saying no. So then, of course, at the same time, I took my my broken LG with the weird pixel screen to Fido, and that was a completely different experience.
How was that?
It's basically, it says, here's my phone, here's all the packaging, whatever you need. This is what's wrong with it. And so she had to take 5 minutes to figure out what's wrong with it. It's like, oh, I see it. I think I see it. It shows up on a black screen. So she turns it off, turns it on. It's like, oh, I see it. Is it okay to wipe your data? You wipe your phone? Yes. I don't think I need anything off my phone other than my one game that I play, which I have backed up. And okay, whatever. And of course, she goes through the process of, trying to RMA my phone. And it's like, that's not my serial number for my phone. That's the one for the Samsung. No, that's the one for the Sony. No, that's the one for the Nokia. Here's the box with the serial code. Just go from there.
Yeah, it's quite obvious here, honey. And on top of that, if you're not too sure what the serial number is, it's okay. If you open up the back,
yep.
If you have access to open up in the back, lift up the battery cover. Yeah, there's your serial number. Now, in this case of the LG, sometimes you don't have access. If it's sealed, of course you're not going to have it. That's why you provided the box.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, as of right now, if I open the back of the phone and try to read off the serial number, my eyes don't work. It stopped working. Because
a little blur.
It's like I can't seem to see it. It's like blurry. It's so small, right? Which is why half the time I take the phone, take a picture of it, and zoom in, right?
Yeah.
It's what happens when you age. So I'm gonna say, okay, that's fine. The thing is, she had a list of phones that I bought through Fido to select from. And one of them says Samsung, one says LG, Nokia, and so on, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, she was trying to be fast, whatever. But it was like, no, it's that one. It's on the box too. It's just read off the box. It's fine, right? Which is fine. She was adorable, which is fine. And says, then of course she's like, oh, what's wrong with the phone? Oh shit, what do I type? Black dot in the middle center LCD screen, upper right. So, I only have 62 characters. I know. That's why I said it in broken English. It's like, you don't have to write full sentences. Just tell what's the problem and they can figure it out.
Did you tell her you used to work in repairs and stuff? Okay.
It's like, I used to work in RMA. What's RMA?
Return merchandise authorization.
Authorization. Oh, okay. So she did the thing. She said it was like, it'll probably be like 5 business days. Like, yeah, I'll see you in a month.
It's never when you promise it entirely.
No.
That's why I never promise exactly when they tell me to promise people.
Yeah.
So basically, they say, it's 5 business days. See you in 2 weeks.
Yep. Then if it somehow comes in within 5 business days, hey, good news, it came early, right?
Yeah. Christmas is early.
Yeah. So that was literally the first phone I had to RMA, and I had to go back to the Sony, as you know. And I just remembered why I switched from the Sony to the LG. Every time I make a phone call, the screen won't turn on.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, especially when you have to punch something in. Like I had to punch in my voicemail. It's like, turn on screen, turn on screen, stupid thing, turn on screen. God damn Sony. They still haven't fixed that problem.
Yeah, that's an inherent flaw in most of them. That and overheating issues. Although I hear the newest phone is liquid cooled.
I have no idea on that part.
I don't know how I feel about liquid cooled phones.
Well, your screen is liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, liquid crystal, right? That's another story.
Yeah, it's well, actually, speaking of that, there's a liquid cooled Asus laptop. Do you sell those?
Vaguely, kind of came across one. Maybe I don't know. To be quite honest, I don't care. I don't care about Asus laptops.
I thought it was absurd. It's like, okay, so you have a giant brick of a laptop and a freaking printer-sized block that you connect to your laptop to liquid cooled your freaking your CPU.
Yeah.
What?
To be quite honest, I don't care about Asus laptops in general.
No.
You know why?
There's no money in it.
There's absolutely no money in it, and on top of that, it's the one piece that keeps coming back to you.
Yes,
it's a pain in the ass. Like, my friend Henry who bought a Asus laptop.
Mm-hmm.
He had to RMA that.
Yeah,
like, a couple weeks later, and you remember him.
Yeah, I had to RMA the damn thing, and when it came back, I says, "There's a wire sticking out." So I had to open the damn thing or RMA it again to fix that freaking mistake they did, right?
Yep.
Which is like, this is why I don't work on laptops, because these fuckers keep fucking it up.
Yeah.
So if I were to buy a laptop, which one would I buy?
MSI.
Yeah, I kind of thought so too. They had that nice shiny red one I like so much. Actually,
MSI has been the brand. And yes, you're going to hear me shill MSI. MSI has been the only brand to actually dethrone Dell in the gaming department.
Hang on. It actually beat Alienware?
Yes.
Where friggin' I should come to think about who actually beat them first. Asus kind of did for price, right?
Yeah. They beat Asus for price. And then in terms of overall quality and ease accessibility, MSI beat Dell.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. The only problem is the last MSI I saw or tried to work on, there was no access port to the hard drive.
Nope. No, because you had to undo the whole plate.
Yeah, you had to undo the entire plate just to replace the SSD, the hard drive with an SSD and add more memory and so forth.
Yep.
And it literally, you void the warranty when you do it.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Well,
but that's your prerogative.
Well, actually,
right?
Here's the thing, right? If you phone up MSI and tell them what you want to do, they'll send you another warranty sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not that big of a deal. Just kind of tell them what you're planning to do. Because they're okay with you replacing the hard drive, right?
As long as you tell them.
Yeah, because they'll send you another warranty sticker because they're cool like that for free.
Again, of all the companies that I've dealt with, MSI has been the coolest one so far. Now, if they can only get their motherboards being a little bit better.
Actually, yeah, because if I were to buy a video card, I'd buy MSI. Because their reply is, no, if there's any problem with your video card, we'll give you a new one. We will give you a new one. We won't even check the old one. Just here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why I do like them. But yeah, their motherboard has problems.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I think we rambled long enough. We will be right back after a short break. We are back. So, since last time we talked, we got a new prime minister. I didn't know he was French, by the way.
Actually, if you've been living under a rock,
which I have,
okay, last name's Trudeau, son of the late former Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Elliott Trudeau. So essentially, Justin Trudeau is technically part Vancouverite, part Montreal.
But he has the accent.
Oh, of course he has the accent because, well, let's face it, Dad lived out east. Mom spent her time out in west every once in a while, and sometimes out east as well. But let's face it, he essentially considers Vancouver his second home because he spent a lot of time here. So, and he was a teacher at one point in Vancouver, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, of course there's going to be a lot of love for, anybody by the last name of Trudeau.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And, I'm glad we voted that asshole out.
Yeah, no kidding.
But, there are some things I'm cool with, and then some things I'm not very cool with Mr. Trudeau here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I almost called him Pierre Trudeau, but then, he's not Pierre, he's Justin. But anyways, apparently we voted in a social justice warrior.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, this is a trade-off.
Well, considering that our choices, we have...
okay, let's see. Douchebag, Prime Minister.
Yeah.
He's former Prime Minister now.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Harper, who basically pretty much just stick up his ass. Like, let's face it, he was it was his strategy to actually do with the whole fucking attack ads. Okay, he basically made Canada not Canada anymore.
Yeah, which is the stupidest attack ads on the planet. It's like if you have an ad where the narrator scoffs, like, that's ridiculously dumb.
Yes, and on top of that, when you're telling people that, Justin's not ready. Well, when you compare Justin Trudeau to other politicians in the world, he's pretty much either slightly younger by only a couple of years, or slightly older by a couple of years, plus or minus, compared to politicians of past and present in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like I think he is just a couple years younger than JFK when JFK became president.
Mm-hmm.
If not, probably, something to that degree, right? When you're going to do that, right, you don't really, you may be trying to attack his credibility, but you undermine your credibility.
Yeah.
Right? Because in the elections, you're supposed to tell people what you've done.
Yeah.
Right? And what you're going to do. And not attack the other guy.
Yeah, and considering that if he were to do that strategy, he's better off attacking the other guy.
Yeah. Justin went with, look what I'm doing. And look what the other guys are doing. And make your decision.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing that where basically it's like, you're adopting your dad's plan of attack. Here's my platform. Here's their platform. Measure it out.
Mm-hmm. Of course, the other choice was the NDP leader, which I couldn't tell you who he was.
I can't blame you if you can't remember his name. He's been kind of, let's just say this. He had the campaign at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
He was first place.
Yep.
And he dropped to third. That tells you something.
That tells me a lot of things. Actually, the thing is, the thing I found hilarious is like one of their campaigners went to our doorstep, right? Where we have a big sign, no soliciting, right?
Yeah.
So they talked to my dad, and of course, my dad says yes to everything. That's his standard reply. So they asked him, "Who you're going to vote for?"
Yes.
Right. And then, of course, he says NDP, and of course, they were NDP. It's like, hey, can we get your phone number so we can call you about the election? So he gave the phone number, which was like, oh, fuck, are you serious? So I was about to rush down there and tell him to fuck off.
Yeah.
And you're violating our civil rights. But too late, got the phone number, got the stupid thing on our door and whatever, right?
Yeah.
So then we got like 4 or 5 phone calls asking us who we're going to vote for because they have to do a poll to get their numbers up.
Yeah.
And of course I says, it's none of your business. I'm going to vote conservative because fuck you. To troll them.
Yeah.
Right. I vote liberal.
The thing is, I voted liberal too.
Mm-hmm.
right? Mostly because, well, I just wanted to get the conservatives out.
Yeah. Oh! Did you hear about the one of the conservative members at some guy's house? What he did?
Pissed in a cup.
Yep.
Yep. That's smart of him.
That was brilliant.
Caught on camera too.
Yeah, it was like, oh my god. And what about the one of the NDP members who didn't know what Auschwitz was?
Oh, and she's a teacher, or either she was a teacher or she was on the school board.
She was the head of the school district.
Yeah. Again,
Oh yeah, that building looks like a shape of a penis.
Yeah, that's Auschwitz.
Mm-hmm.
What's Auschwitz? Yeah.
Well, let's be honest here. Considering what I learned in high school, I didn't know what Auschwitz was either, because they never taught us that. Because they kind of skipped all over that.
Well, yeah, of course. That's the safe space.
Yeah. But okay.
we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But no, you know what the coup de grace was, of all things?
Mm-hmm.
Conservative members out in Ontario,
mm-hmm.
okay, when they're going out to post signs out for support their candidate,
mm-hmm.
they're knocking down signs of the other of the opponents,
which is against the law for the longest time.
Yeah, and they got caught on camera doing it. Like, there was a guy across the street filming the thing,
mm-hmm.
and then basically like, oh, we caught these guys on camera doing this, and they went out and they confronted them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna go fuck. Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll work for the guy. Sure. Yeah. Whatever. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Because I'm not allowed to take the stupid sign off my lawn until the election's over. What makes you think you can?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's that sort of thing. And the thing, and what's so funny is how brazen they were about it. It's like, really? That's pretty much suicide for that candidate right there.
Mm-hmm.
Having those guys do it. Yes, those guys may have been fired or quote unquote released.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they weren't actually hired. They're all volunteer.
Exactly. So, it was like stuff like this. It just really, really makes things dirty. And on top of that, more things got dirtier closer to the elections. If you notice the front of a couple of newspapers,
mm-hmm.
they're all in yellow.
Yeah.
Because Elections Canada,
mm-hmm.
their logo is in yellow,
mm-hmm.
or their signs are mostly in yellow and black print.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically it's the conservatives saying, oh, voting for this guy will give you, will be bad. And there's, and basically, two lines. Voting for this guy is bad, and then the consequences.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I think they should have done? They should have taken a comedical sense of the thing instead of going with this BS. Because I'm pretty sure if it's funny, they'll vote for you.
Oh, yeah.
But if you go for something stupid and lame, I'll vote for the other guy just for spite. Because at the moment, I don't care for any of the parties. Like, I was never a fan of NDP. Liberal, it's closest to what I think, but I honestly don't think they're going to do much with the country. We will see, but they do have a majority government, which I'm hoping they'll do something interesting other than legalize pot.
Well, let's face it. They have a majority. A majority government, unlike the Conservatives, the first time they got into government,
mm-hmm.
when it was a minority government.
Yeah. And then they got a majority government, didn't they?
They finally got a majority government, I think, in the last election.
Mm-hmm. And what did they do with it?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Fuck up the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. Trans-Pacific Partnership. Yeah, why is that negotiated in secret?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why aren't we in, why isn't, aren't we in on the, comings and goings and the legalities and all the little things in the TPP?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I hear our, I guess you could say our copyright laws are going to be pretty much on par with everybody else's.
Copyright laws?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amongst one of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Which is part of the TPP.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering how that will affect us online, because we're supposed to try to keep, net neutrality. Doesn't sound like we're going to keep net neutrality here.
No.
Right. So
I don't know. At this point, I'm realistically sick to death for hearing net neutrality.
I can understand that because it's been bashed on our heads so many times. But at the same time, it's like, well, let's face it. A lot of things online, which you have the current freedoms to do right now, pretty much being attacked.
Ooh, I'm trying to think.
SOPA, CISPA, and a whole bunch of other things that they try to ram down our throats.
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking, what do, there's a lot of gray area on my computer that'll get me super arrested.
Exactly.
Super arrested.
Yeah. So, it's that sort of thing where you kind of want, despite you being sick of hearing it all the time, you want to,
Actually, no, I'm not. It's not so much I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of them not doing anything about it.
That's the thing. So, again, it's not very high on a lot of people's lists of priorities, but at the same time, it's sort of like, well, if I'm a user of the internet here, and certain provisions in there that pretty much bar me from or prevent me from doing what I need to do here. In the realm of whatever you feel is right, as long as it's not illegal, right? Then, or rather, what you're doing, which was completely legal, is now deemed illegal. Then you want to be in on this, where you want to, to fight against anti-net neutrality.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, majority of time, my problem with half the stuff is like. What's it called? The right to use certain things for commentary or
yes, it's called the Digital Millennium Copyright Act,
right? Where
you're allowed to actually use excerpts of it, and for the express purposes of either parody or commentary, right? That may be circumvented to a certain degree. Well,
my problem with that is the people who complain about it are using it wrong. Like
they're completely using it wrong.
Like, for example, if you use it in your intro of your video, right, as one of those title screens, that's not what that's about. You are blatantly using something against copyright.
Yeah.
So they can shut your thing down for that. Like, if you have a little segment of a video and all you do is to change a video by putting yourself dancing in it, you're still violating copyright. That's not, commentary or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, parodying it is if you take the video and add your own voice to it, like what half the people do with Taylor Swift songs, right?
Exactly.
That's parody. But if you use the entire segment and not change the audio whatsoever and just says, well, I changed the video. It's like, no, you're still using the full audio. They can flag your video for copyright infringement.
Because it's not the video that's the issue. It is the audio, which, like, for an artist like Taylor Swift, that's her bread and butter.
Yeah.
Not the video.
If you use that song, even any portion of it, like for about, 20 seconds of it, and not change anything, like, if it's background music, it's one thing, but if it's the full audio quality, because have you noticed that half the time when people are starting to lip sync those stupid lip sync videos, the audio quality is garbage.
Yep.
Right?
It's purposely garbage.
Yeah, for a reason, right? And the one that's really good quality is because they have the actual artist in the video, right?
Yeah.
But it's like these guys don't get it. Like, what's his name? Angry Joe in the Skyrim video he did that was flagged for copyright.
Yeah.
Like, I agree. That should have been flagged for copyright because you use the portion of song unaltered.
Yeah.
Right. But that's majority of the time. Like, yeah.
Well, think about it this way. South Park used the Game of Thrones opening.
Yep.
Guess what they do? They did. They altered it.
Yeah, because they sung it.
Yeah, they sung it. Wiener, wiener, wiener. Of course, that's not going to get flagged.
Because they know what they're doing. Because they're literally parodying. It's like, the entire show is making fun of you and parodying it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, go ahead,
have a lot of wieners hanging, it's all about the wieners. I don't know what it's all about. It's all about the wieners.
Like, but yet there's no bun reference.
No. Actually, the thing is there's more buns than wieners, on that show, right? Next to, tits. Of course, they don't have to mention tits because, let's face it, it's a family show. But that's another story for another time. But yeah, one major thing that really gets me about the DMCA is the fact that on YouTube, it's a very useful medium. However, if you're doing commentary, right, some people will use the DMCA for exactly the wrong reasons, just to shut people up. Yeah,
like say I made a very garbage game and I gave the key to Total Biscuit, and Total Biscuit shat on it, so I flagged him.
Yeah.
I didn't flag him, but
no, of course, right? But you're using that as a reference, right? Yeah. It's like, well, that's a false DMCA.
Yeah.
Because he basically did not use anything that's really your of your copyright other than, well, just reviewing your game. Mm-hmm. And he didn't even show your game on the screen there. He just talked about it.
No, he didn't.
No. But if he did a review of the game, that's one thing. If he did a talk about the game where he said it's shit, okay, and you flagged that, that's a false DMCA because there was nothing of your content on that video.
Yeah.
Other than just talking about the title and the game and the gameplay and how it was shat. Mm-hmm. Right? That would be a false DMCA. And we see that quite a lot in a lot of the more controversial discussions, especially with the atheism and Christianity movements, if you think about it. Yeah.
Okay. I actually, to add on that, I think the better example is actually, Scientology.
Okay.
Because that's copyrighted.
Scientology may be copyrighted, but the thing is that if you're just talking about Scientology, that's one thing.
No, that's copyright infringement. We copyright our religion.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You can talk about Scientology. You can't use the whole. I guess you could say
You can't talk about the lore.
Well, the lore. Okay, the thing is that's bullshit. We all know that
the lore is copyrighted.
The lore may be copyrighted, but the thing is that are they reading from the book of Scientology? Are they reading out of Dianetics? Are they reading the paper, the actual excerpts from OT3? No, they're not. Right? They're just reading they're just rattling off the top of their head about Xenu.
Oh, that's copyrighted. We're gonna get flagged.
But that's another. Again, we have stuff like that. That they'll flag over because it's like, well, that's copyrighted material. Saying the word Xenu means nothing.
I just find that hilarious. Considering like,
wow, if this is not true, and I'm supposed to pay for the money for the OT3, then there should be nothing to worry about, and why you're flagging it. Where there's smoke, there's fire. That sort of thing, right? But again, I'm going back to my original premise. Atheism and Christianity, because there was a good time, or there was a very, very good time, which was hilarious because I had a lot of popcorn and everything, and watching Christians flag atheists, and then there are some butthurt atheists that will just do this kind of the same thing. So stuff like that, there was like kind of a war going on between Christianity and atheism. That kind of subsided about a couple years later. Now there's that new war.
Oh, which war are we talking about?
Social justice.
Can never get away from that, can we?
No.
What new?
Well, okay. Nowadays, there's other ways of going about this where you can silence people. Now on YouTube, you can actually file privacy complaints.
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh, yeah.
And on top of that, if you're using copyright materials, they no longer do the. Some companies will not opt to use the DMCA, but what they'll do is they'll opt to use. They'll do the copyright claims, but instead of doing the standard copyright claim, they may say, well, if this video is being played and this digital content is in use, then we'll just make money off the digital content off your video. So if you're using a particular song, well, they'll I can't remember what it's called.
Basically, what they do is they'll flag it for saying, we own the copyright, so we get the money.
Yes.
Which is what Nintendo does.
Yes. Which is why I understand why most of the gaming shows no longer do or feature any Nintendo products.
Yep.
As a result.
Because they got to make them money.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if we're going to get into that topic. Every other company knows that, for example, Skyrim, right, which I still play today, they know that is the user-generated content that gives that basically puts a spotlight on their game, which is why it's been 5 years since the game came out and people are still playing it. Right? They're still buying it. They're still, paying whatever price it is just to play the game. Bethesda is coming out with Fallout 4, and that's going to get the same amount of spotlight attention considering they're going to add mod to the consoles. So that's going to have a long replay value. No matter how crashy and buggy it's going to get, people are going to pay full price for the game.
Of course.
Yeah. Whereas Nintendo, it's like, for God's sakes, you made a game called Mario Maker. Guess what people are going to do? They're going to make a stage and they're going to get people to play it. And if you're going to flag that saying we own the copyright to that, unless you're on our program that will give you 40 cents on the dollar of how much the thing makes, seriously.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm not one of those guys who are on the bandwagon where Nintendo's going to go down in flames, considering that, they've been saying that for the last 5 years, and Nintendo's still around.
I've been hearing that for like the last 10.
Yeah.
Really. I know, to be quite honest, ever since they brought out the Wii.
I think...
Oh, that Wii will never fly.
I think it's basically ever since the GameCube.
Yeah.
Considering they jacked up their price for their making the games on the thing. So then all the third party game makers saying, fuck you, we're not going to do it. We're going to go on Sony and Xbox. Right. And then, Nintendo, all they had to release is their own IPs, which is why the Wii is such a... my sister bought it for me. And I use it as a doorstop with pictures to prove that I use it as a doorstop.
But some people will like the content off of Wii.
Yeah.
Just because, they're Mario fans or they're Nintendo fans.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, the games on the Wii that Nintendo makes are actually really, really good. Yeah. It's just, the problem is, in 1 year, I can count more games. How should I put it? The number of games I can count on one hand from the Nintendo, that's a problem.
Yeah. But on top of that, I think a webcomic I've read back in the day explained it very well. The reason why Nintendo actually still holds some market value or market share is the fact that, you have the new Sony PlayStation.
Yep.
And they only make 100 units on its launch per market.
Yep.
Right? Whereas Nintendo will probably have, 1,000 to about 4,000 units per market readily available. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get the new PlayStation, but the new Wii is out, or the new Nintendo console is out. So maybe I'll go buy that one. And the games are ready for that too.
That's debatable.
Yeah. Because if you are actually a Nintendo member, if you sign up to Nintendo's, I guess you could say, version of, whatever their sign-on thing is, they you can actually download games. You can actually download content of older games onto their system, and you can start playing.
Yep.
Right? Whereas, if you buy any of the newer stuff from, say, PlayStation or Xbox, they might have some downloadable content if you log into your, I guess you could say, your account. Maybe. Right? Or you might be able to play a lot of the older content. Sure. But as far as the newer content is concerned, from what I can tell, every time I looked at a new console from Nintendo, they had stuff ready to go.
Yeah, okay.
and mind you, you didn't have to update it.
Oh, yes.
No DLC bullshit.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Okay, well, as we all know, I am a PC guy. I've always been a PC guy because I like the mouse. Now, having actually owned considerably the majority of all the consoles out there, Nintendo, when you get it, you can play old games. Yep. That's always been, because they love reselling you old shit. They do. Which, let's be honest. Some old games are great, and I want to play it on my new Wiimote, right?
Yep.
As for the PlayStation 4, problem with that is there's no new titles. Problem is it takes too long to make one of those titles, and the last game, the freaking on the PlayStation 4 happens to be a how should I play it? It's not really a game, but it's more of a choose your adventure game. Wait Until Dawn, which is like a horror / game, and all you do is like, it's not a game, it's quick time events, right?
Yeah.
Which is whatever. And all the majority of the free games they give you on the PlayStation Network are indie titles, which could be good, could be bad. The only problem is they're, I don't know, they look old. They don't look like new next gen.
Or they're old because I guess you could say the guy who created the game, the indie game itself, is not an artist.
No.
He's just a game developer.
I think the majority of the time, the fact that it looks old is the charm. And half the time, like Super Meat Boy, that looks like it belongs on a Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
and it does. And
I wouldn't be surprised if he made it this year, though. I'm using that as an example, right?
Yeah, something like that. It's like, they made it in this decade, right?
Yeah.
And yes, it looks like something from 20 years ago, which is kind of half the point of the thing. And and of course, if you think about it, if you make something in that style, it's easier to produce than to have the full motion 3D high polygon count, Battlefield 4 or 5, right? Which makes sense. But at least, oh God, Halo came out on the Xbox. At least it's not like their fiasco the first time the Halo collection came out, where you had a 20 gig download to get the thing working, and you still couldn't play multiplayer.
Yeah.
But that's just me laughing, looking down at the console, because I was looking at screenshots for fun, knowing that one is better than the other, of the new Star Wars game. They were saying, this is the one on PC on Ultra, and this is the one on the PlayStation 4. You can tell the difference because one's blurry as shit.
Yeah. Well, again, that's kind of the reason why I'm more of a PC gamer than I am with the consoles.
Mm-hmm.
A, I'm not buying a $500 console.
Yeah.
B, I'm not buying games where I have to sit through the bullshit DLC and wait for it to be updated.
Yeah.
Just bought the game. Oh, has to update.
Yeah.
On launch date.
On launch date.
I'm like, seriously?
Yeah.
I have to actually update this? I thought it was ready to go off right out of the disc. No, it's not. And this is kind of the reason why I kind of given up on console gaming.
Yeah.
Right? It's bullshit like this.
And of course, the big bullshit is the in-game purchase.
Well, okay, that's kind of like how that market's has become nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Assassin's Creed. Oh my God.
Yeah. If you want to get this, nice, awesome outfit, you got to pay money for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you need to buy this outfit, you can pay money for it, or you can play the game. Or you can play the game and still not get it.
Yeah, if you want to play the game and actually pass this level, buy this amount of thing with real money so you can upgrade your shit quicker. Okay, now here's a little secret for the PC users, right? We have these thing called trainers that breaks the game and takes all that bullshit out. It's like Grand Theft Auto. Oh, I already have $2 billion. Let's buy everything and play the game.
Yep.
And also, here's another secret, people. Steam. Here's the thing about Steam. They have sales, like crazy sales. Just Cause 2. I bought that for 95 cents. And it's a brilliant game. I probably spent like maybe 400 hours on that thing, just dicking around. It's an amazing free roaming game.
Yeah.
Right. And it was 95 cents. Right?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always keep an eye out for Steam sales.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, people do go on about, well, the PC, you gotta buy like a video card. and those are expensive, and you don't have to buy the most expensive video card to play the games. You don't.
No, you just have to buy yourself you could say the entry-level gaming graphics card out there. It'll still function the same as, a card from, say, 2 years ago that could have been the top-end card.
Yeah.
For all we know.
And it's still better graphics than the current PS4.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And we're back.
So, so we're doing a third part now.
Yeah, because I had to bio break real bad.
Sorry about that, dude. Okay, so So what we want to do is we want to discuss in the last section here is, I guess you could say the TV shows and movies we've caught the last couple weeks.
Now for the entertainment portion of our program.
Yes. So, now, I'm not too sure how many people caught this movie, but then again, hearing what I'm hearing on the radio, The Martian is doing pretty well.
Yes,
and I caught that a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, well, considering that, let's see, Gem and the Holograms bombed.
Given.
The Vin Diesel AD&D character he created a long time ago bombed as well.
Yep. Well, again, we're talking about a science fiction movie.
Yep.
Which really had very little action to it.
Hang on, which movie we're talking about here?
The Martian.
Yes. Okay.
And that's the thing that is dominating the box office right now. Think about it.
Well, given the choice, I already watched The Martian, right? And I thought it was excellent, considering that the guy who created it, actually, the guy who wrote it, I loved his story. He basically self-published on Amazon, and it got popular enough for them to make a movie out of it. And one of the things I really liked about it is how he thought majority of it, how it's scientifically possible to do this and that, give and take.
Yeah. He supplemented his diet with a lot of potato.
Yep.
So when you think about it, it is possible. But the thing is, if your sole diet is potato, think about how much you're losing in terms of other nutrients. Like, it's bad enough you're on a self-contained habitat. Technically, there is no sun that that you got to deal with. You can't actually go out there and partake in sunbathing on Mars. When you think about it,
I like one of the parts of we can't seem to get a clear picture of if only he can take off his helmet. Yeah, he could do that. He'll die, but he can do that.
Yeah. But yeah, they also, I like the fact that they addressed the fact that, there was an accident which took out his crops.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Well, at least you know that it is doable. All you have to do is, dig up your own shit.
Well, oh God. I think I've talked about this before. That certain Chinese families do that every morning.
Yeah. But, yes, you can, grow stuff on there. Like, he had a great idea. Find that thing of potatoes that you're going to save for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Cover them up and grow them.
Yep.
Which was, a phenomenal idea when you think about it. Just wish you had other stuff to grow too with it.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, I forgot when it was based on, was it 10, 20 years from now?
Something like that.
Yeah. And you would think they would have some other stuff besides some dehydrated beef stew or something like that, right?
Well,
like peas?
Yeah. Okay. If you had other types of vegetables that were, they're technically seeds themselves, Peas is one of them. Actually, you could probably do
peas, sunflower.
Yeah, carrots are technically, depending on what part of the carrot you got.
Yeah, there's no way you can grow a carrot considering like how we.
Well, depending on how on right part here. What part of the carrot that you have here? Now, if you're talking about processed, carrots, where basically you chop the top off already and everything else. Obviously you're gonna obviously you won't be able to grow carrots.
Yeah, like for example, if I gave you a bag of pre-cut carrot, you can't grow any of that.
You can't grow any of that whatsoever. But if you had the top still, you could.
Yeah, but they're not going to give you the tops.
No.
Right, and then what else is there? Peas you can probably grow because
Well, peas are essentially those seeds themselves.
Yeah.
Right. Just like nuts are a form of seeds.
Yeah, but they're cooked.
They're cooked as a result because they want to.
Yeah, because if you get like let's say actually come to think about it, sunflower seeds, I was thinking of they're dead already.
Yeah. No. Well, if you're talking about processed sunflower seeds, yes, they're dead.
Yeah, and pumpkin seeds, they're dead already.
Yeah.
Shit. What else? Celery, you can't grow that.
No.
Crap. Can't come to think of any form of salad.
Yeah. Well, anytime you cut off the main, I guess you could say, part of it where it's being held together, then it's all gone.
Yeah.
Think about it. Lettuce, all you need is keep the core.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Again, any root vegetable, as long as you keep the top of it, you're fine. Which is why he had kept all the potato tops that he's grown.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the whole point of it. You replant them, and basically they'll grow more potatoes, right? But yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have any. They didn't think of actually trying to make the attempt to begin with. I'm getting it probably took a lot of resources just to try, but it could have been attempted.
Yeah,
at least that's why you brought a botanist, for crying out loud.
Yeah, you would figure if you bring a botanist, they'll have a suitcase worth of seeds.
Yeah,
and of course the disco bit.
Yeah, okay. That was kind of hilarious when you think about it. He's like, "Oh, all that's left is this, disco music." Catherine should find something better, some better taste in music. And obviously, she's a big disco buff.
But then again, how come you don't have your own iPod worth of stuff?
That's another story for another time. Yes, I can understand, hey, he has music, they have music, but, of all the people who are going there, she's the only one that actually had music. That was kind of like, what? Really? You mean the German guy doesn't have, German death metal?
Yeah.
Come on.
Because it's a nitpick, but if I were to go to Mars, I would bring a lot of stuff to entertain me because what is it? That's a 2-year trip.
That is definitely a 2-year trip.
Yeah.
And you know what? If I were to go to Mars, I'd bring a lot of Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley?
You get the reference, right? A few decades ago, right? They found that, hey, they're hearing Elvis Presley music on Mars, or some, they're receiving, some sort of communication back from Mars. It's just the radio signal just bouncing back from Mars all those years ago, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, it was mostly Elvis Presley music that they were hearing.
Yeah,
from the time.
Come to think about it, I'm just thinking, how slow is that wave signal?
It took 2 years, 3 years, something like that.
Elvis Presley?
I can't remember how long, but like I said, this was like decades ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, if it was decades ago, then we're talking about 20, 30 years.
Yeah. So radio signals kind of went and bounced back, and I'm guessing that for the rate of the radio signals, that didn't take them that took a while, like a couple years, not decades. I remember this was back in like when they're dealing with their spaceship program back in the day.
Okay.
In the 60s,
okay.
Right. So they were like, what's this? We're hearing Elvis Presley music, and this was in the 60s, and this was stuff from the 50s.
Okay, this makes sense then.
So, it's that sort of thing where they're like, okay, well, the estimated roughly, 2 years. I'm guessing it's probably a lot longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, depends on the time period where they were hearing that music, and what music was being played at the time. Because if it was like, say, top 40s in 1950 something, right, and they're hearing it in 1960 or early 60s, and this was like the late 50s, then yeah, they can roughly guesstimate what how soon it came, how it bounced there and bounced back.
Yeah, it makes sense now, because like I'm thinking if it's a couple of 10 years ago, that's a lot.
Not 10 years ago. This is a long,
Okay.
This is like I said, the infancy of the space missions.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
But then of course I was thinking, would they actually send a person back or send an entire crew to save one person? No, they wouldn't.
No, because that would be, again, that's money that's
billions of dollars.
That's billions of dollars that, for a ship that may or may not be retired after its run.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Depending on, if it's still usable afterwards.
Yeah. But then again, they also left a bunch of stuff back there, so.
That can be reused easily,
mm-hmm.
right? That's one thing, right? We're talking about a spaceship.
Yeah.
Right. If you're talking about stuff that you'll be behind there, of course, there's no atmosphere, hence no degradation and to a certain degree on some items, except for maybe food.
Well, I was about to say atmosphere. Well, I don't know. They have those Mars storms.
The Mars storms, yeah, but then again, think about most of the stuff they sent there from like 1996, I think. Really? They were able to actually dig out of because. Part of the story was he actually dug up a probe from 1996,
mm-hmm.
right? And basically he tried to access it and whatnot, and it was still kind of working.
It's like Windows 95 now loading.
Yeah. So it's like, oh well, yeah. Let's try to check back, see if we have the replica of it. Yes, we do. Oh, okay. So let's bring it online. Blah blah blah. Boom, working. Boom. Oh, they see a picture of him being transmitted back. Awesome. Okay, let's try to communicate. That sort of thing. It's like, so the storms didn't destroy anything of it. I see. Like you think if there are, windstorms or sandstorms there
mm-hmm.
that would just, I don't know, strip things like plastic wiring, whatever is, whatever that was not properly covered up on the probe.
Well, it kind of makes you think. It's like, if they can make a light bulb that lasts for 50 years, and, why can't they make a TV that doesn't break down after warranty expired, right?
Yeah, if only they could do that.
Yeah. It's called LG. Damn Samsung. 2 TVs died. 2.
Don't sound too bitter now.
Well, yeah, I think I already told everybody a story about the plasma Samsung that we got our money back from Visa, and that stupid, the DLP thing that I had to replace the processor on to get all those dots off the screen.
Yep.
Yeah, that worked.
Anyways, moving on back to our entertainment portion of our discussion. Yeah. After veering so far off course. But Martian's doing pretty well. This premise is interesting. I found as a guy who likes like a story being told,
mm-hmm.
I found it pretty. I found it pretty entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
However, because my fiance is not that type, she's more of, hey, where's the action in this fucking thing? Where's the people blowing up here? Where are limbs flying? Okay. What the fuck?
Well, all I want to say about that is, what time of year is it?
Yeah.
Just remember, October, November, that's when the shit they can't put out on the summer release they put in here.
Yeah. And
then, of course, December is where all the Oscar stuff is. And January, that's the stuff they just have to put out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if she went to watch, what's that thing called? The Last Witch Hunter? Oh, dear Lord. I haven't seen the movie, but I've watched enough reviews to tell me I want to go see this movie.
Because it's that bad?
Because I have a certain level of schlock that I like.
Is that bad?
Yeah. Because, like, basically we have, okay, get this, okay. We have Vin Diesel's AD&D character who is a witch hunter, right? But he's no normal witch hunter. He's cursed, right? You know what the curse is?
He's immortal?
He's immortal. Apparently, that's a really bad curse because I don't know. Like, this is what I watch in the first couple of minutes of it. So he is apparently rich. He wears the best clothing. He lives in this swank ass apartment and he bangs stewardess. Yeah, that's a heavy curse.
Yeah,
heavy curse.
Yeah,
okay.
Actually, considering there's a huge age difference, would that not make him a pedophile?
Yeah, but what are you gonna do? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
We're going to get back to, if we do that, we have to get back to the Twilight bit about he's 200 and she's 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. At a certain point, if you look the same, just go with it. Just go with it. Age is just a number.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. After 18, it's just a number.
Yeah. Okay. We had to make that clarification here, John, because you kind of went into weird territory.
Yeah, because after 18, it's just a number.
Yeah,
because we all consent 18, whatever. It doesn't matter if you're like 25 or 2,500. It's still 18, still legal.
Yep.
Right.
Over 18, legal.
Yeah. It's like you should stop caring after that. and then of course, then somehow shit happens, and he has to wield his flaming sword, which at the premiere he was wielding, by the way, and he was like, ah! Swinging that flaming sword, because after all, this is AD&D character, right?
Yeah.
And of course, I couldn't tell you what happens after that because I'm still waiting to watch the movie. I just watched the first 10 minutes of it, right? So I heard that because it's his production, CJ's kind of
bad.
I'm going to say it's not asylum bad, but you can watch the trailer. It's kind of right?
Okay.
But I'll give a full review next week.
Of course.
Yeah. But it's nothing compared to what they said about Gem and the Holograms.
You mean Josie and the Pussycats?
No, not even that. Because if it was Josie and the Pussycats,
that would be more entertaining.
That would be an entertaining movie. This is basically essentially the plot of it, from what I've read by everybody who watched this stupid movie, right? You first have Jerrica, which who the hell names their kid Jerrica, right? Who basically sung a song, and her sister Kimber recorded it and put it on YouTube, right? Now, one of the main problems of this movie is that the director can't figure out what decade they're living in, right? Because let's say, for example, 10 years ago, right? It's 2005. What do we have back then? Do we have cassettes? No, we don't have cassettes.
Not really, no.
Do we have VHS tapes?
No.
We had burnable DVDs.
Yeah.
We have camcorders that record onto DVD-R and hard drives, right? We have mini disc and so forth, and we have YouTube, internet, cell phones, right?
Yeah.
Right. So apparently, she recorded it on some type of VHS thing and managed to convert it to YouTube and put it on the interwebs, right? And then it got really popular to a point where they gave her a music album contract, right? Right. And Justin Bieber that shit, right? And also at the same time, their black and Asian friend are also living together with them as well because of reasons.
I thought they're all sisters.
Adopted sisters. That's the original plot. But no, they don't get into that. And of course, there's no misfits. There's no bad guy and so forth. It's just a music producer. And for whatever reason, she needed money to save her mother's house, right? And so she has to sign a contract for an advance. She wants an advance, so she has to sign this contract to go solo, which, I'm thinking, if you're like the most popular singer in the world, all you have to do is go to this stuff called eBay and start selling autograph this and that, right? That should easily earn you money, cash in hand, to pay for the house. And if you just explained, I got to stay at my mother's house, they'll do that easily, right? But no, she signs to be a solo artist, and then all her bandmates are all pissed off at her because, you know, she did something to help somebody else, right? And of course, you know, they figured, oh, anybody could be Gem because, you know, one of the things that was BS about the movie, she signed her contract as Gem, which is not legally binding because that's not who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, for whatever reason, she has to, with Rio, sneak into the studio to open the safe to get some, some contract or some will from her father that gives her this thing that produces holograms, synergy of little holograms. But it's not the one that turns her into Gem. It just produces holograms.
Okay. It's kind of, well, okay. So basically you take I guess you could say the most stereotypical premise of Josie and the Pussycats, because remember, Josie at one point signs up to be a solo artist, and they're like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah.
Right? So that was the solo principle of Josie and the Pussycats. Let's face it, that's kind of like how everybody compares her to now, or Gem and the Holograms compares it to now, right? So, yeah, I you know, now that you mentioned the whole, you know, the hologram part, it's like, wow, it smells like,
yeah, basically
worse than my feet.
Yeah, at the end they were said. Rio was talking to a reporter saying, oh yeah, it's Gem and the holograms, because he looks over and says, this little machine that creates holograms, right? And according to the director, he wanted the sequel to introduce the Misfits and all the other stuff, which is like you making a Superman movie and basically got to the point where he discovered he has superpowers and he can do stuff with it, and then ends the movie.
Yeah, and we'll introduce Lex Luthor and his henchmen in the next sequel.
Yeah.
Wow, really? So that's a 2-part movie, I see.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. No wonder you bombed the fucking movie.
Well, but then again, this movie only cost like $10 million to make, and realistically, this is Bloomberg, right? So chances are there's some other movie that made more money that covered this piece of garbage.
Of course.
But I don't know. I get why they wanted to make this type of movie, mainly because of the, you know, they don't want to spend the money on the special effects for like, you know, the holograms and so forth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I'm a fan to a certain point because I know the original series, but all the people who are like diehard Gem fans, I just love to see them cry.
You killed my childhood.
You murdered my childhood. Well, now you know how I feel about Ninja Turtles and Transformers.
Exactly. So here's pretty much the top, I guess you could say, 5 movies according to Cineplex here. Number 1 was The Martian, as I mentioned earlier.
Wow. Still.
Number 2. Okay, so basically 15.73 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
On like, was it week 3, week 4?
Yeah. So it opened October 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay. Goosebumps was opened last week.
Mm-hmm.
At 15.53 million.
Yeah, Goosebumps. All right.
Okay. Bridge of Spies at 11.37 million. They opened same time.
I heard next to nothing about that movie. It's Tom Hanks.
Yeah, it's Tom Hanks, but nothing. Yeah, next to nothing. Last Witch Hunter at 10.81 million. Yeah. Opened last Friday.
Only $74 million to go.
Yeah. And Hotel Transylvania 2, 8.8 million, opened at the last week of September.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your top 5 according to Cineplex. Yeah.
Oh dear.
So, other than that, there were a couple other movies which I wanted to check out, but, heard they're not that great.
Which are?
Crimson Peak.
Crimson Peak, I heard,
it's a horror movie.
How should I put? Well, it's from Del Toro.
Yeah.
So it'll look great.
It's a nice artful piece, but the thing is like, okay, so it's a girl that sees dead people.
Well, come on. It's like, oh, I married a rich guy, moved to his house. Apparently it's a very creepy house, and I think they're immortal, and shit happens.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rating is, but it looked interesting enough.
14 plus.
14% on Rotten Tomatoes?
No. Oh, you said rating, but I'm thinking, what's the,
oh shit,
the movie rating itself. Not the rating.
That means it's not R. So there. Oh yeah. God, that means there's no
14A.
14A, which is what?
PG-13 above.
What's PG-13 essentially?
PG-13, yeah.
Yes, okay. So that means there's no gore. There's no real blood then.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be fine.
Next one available is Steve Jobs. It says it itself.
Okay, number one, it is Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
So it should be good at an acting point of view.
Yeah.
But then again, it's for God's sake, Steve Jobs. Okay, for me, I know his story, right?
Yeah.
It's actually pretty clever, pretty good, right? And, other than my own personal, bias against Apple, it could be good.
Yeah.
I hope he wins an Oscar.
Yes, I have to agree.
Certainly better than the last one.
Well, okay. As far as somebody who started up a company from nothing and did a pretty good job of what he was doing, okay, sure. But how many countless stories are like that? All we were showing is the good side of Steve Jobs, not the dickhole side of Steve Jobs.
Well,
because let's face it, there are some parts where it shows that he is a humongous dickhole, but not to the nth degree that the movie portrays.
Well, I'm going to be honest. If I were to run a company, I would be a freaking terrorist myself.
Yeah.
What do you mean this map thing doesn't work? I want you to get it to work now. You like your job? You like your job? I will stand over your head and look over your shoulder, and I will make sure that thing works. Unlike the shit they have now.
Yeah. I ever since they got the dumbest thing they've done was get rid of Google. And then they end up having to actually bring Google back as a separate.
Yeah, from what I heard, the new iPhone, it's I'm an Android person, but notice that the Apple iPhone has a lot of Google application for it.
Well, yeah, now that Steve Jobs is dead.
No, Steve Jobs always had a Google. It's when they switch over to the new guy.
Well, that's the thing. When Steve was still alive, yes, Google was a partner. Yeah. And then they decided Google is no longer a partner, right?
Because they made their own operating system.
Yes, they made their own operating system and everything else. And they're like, oh, well, in that case, you're a competitor. Oh, we'll cut you out. Oh, wait a minute. Your thing works better than ours. No, we'll try to make our... No. Wait a little bit longer.
We have melting...
Hi, Google. Yeah, we need you back.
Please, help.
Please?
It's when BlackBerry decide to adopt your operating system, you're already sunk in.
Yeah.
Okay. I was really the BlackBerry, the Rev or whatever it's called. I was really on board for it until I saw the price for that damn thing. It's more expensive than the freaking Note 5.
Yeah.
It's $1,100.
Yeah, and you kind of wonder why they're dying.
Yeah, it's yes, you're the only one who has the physical keyboard, which is, by the way, a hard-on for all real phone users, right?
Yep.
But if the sheer fact that I can go out, pay $850 for that new shiny Note 5 and save myself that money for anything else, seriously. And not to mention, if I want, I can spend $700 for the Note 4, have all the expanded memory I want, and the replaceable battery. Seriously.
Yeah.
So, I was really on board and buying that thing until I saw the goddamn price.
Yep. I can believe that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, Research in Motion. I think what you want to do is stop making phones and go into maybe software.
Yeah.
Because at this point, that's probably the only thing that will probably keep you guys afloat.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me.
Yeah. Until they actually decide to drop the price on the damn thing, then I'll get it. But that's not happening. Even the friggin' like Passport is still $1,000.
Yeah. Going back on topic.
Back to movies.
Paranormal Activity.
Come on.
Apparently this is going to be the last Paranormal Activity.
Until the next one.
Until they decide to, say, we're desperate for money.
Yeah, because how much can this posse cost to make? $1.50 worth of film, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe a flash memory card? Because have you seen any of the Paranormal Activities movies?
I probably saw the first two. I might have caught the third one. I can't remember anymore.
No, let's be honest. Can you make the movies?
Yeah.
Because all it is like, oh my god, there that cloth, it moved. It moved.
You know what? The funny thing is that somebody else is already making that movie.
Which is
Ghost Hunters. Oh my god! What's that sound? Oh my god! Ah! Oh, wait a minute. There's that coat hanger that's that the guy's holding on to that's moving. Shit. And it's quite obvious that he's holding onto the coat hanger while and tugging on the sheet. Shit. We forgot to edit that out.
It's like boom mic, boom mic,
boom mic. Oh, okay. Oh, what's that? Okay. So let's play that.
How do you crop again?
Let's play back that sound here. Shit, it's not working here. Oh, now it's not working. Yeah.
It's like a damn Apple phone. Damn Apple phone.
Oh shit, we forgot to set the tape recorder. Let's continue on. I loved how the fact that they actually tried to do it on live, and Scott Valentine, who at the time his claim to fame was working, I guess, as the medical guy for Jordan's Crossing on NBC, I think. When you start pressing buttons on the dictaphone here, trying to say, "Oh, let's hear back to it," and you prematurely press the button, right, before they actually started recording the sound. It's like, "Oh, we got the ghost on tape." Oops, we're live, aren't we? Shit!
Oh shit! I pressed the record and didn't play. Oh.
It's like, wow, you set that up nicely, guys. Wow, nothing says fake like fake. Another show that kind of reminds me of it was when filmed in the UK, where you actually saw, where they're like doing the infrared cams and everything else, and they're doing a seance, and they're like, oh, blah, 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 ghost, blah, 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 can you hear me, blah, 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 right? Like, okay, we got this glass on the table, okay, so we're doing this whole, let's put our hands together on there and and basically see it move just like you would on a Ouija board, right? Because the table is kind of like a Ouija board. Okay. Then they take their hands off it and they do the whole hand seance. And then you see this one woman actually grab the cup and throw it across the room. It's like, oh my god, that glass flew across the room. No, it didn't. That lady clearly pulled it and threw it across the fucking room. It's quite obvious. The one thing they actually did a cruel joke on was the fact that they brought a psychic onto the show.
Fucking psychics. Okay.
And they kind of hinted towards a name. And the hostess was like, this guy's a fucking fake. So we're going to prove it. What she does is she makes up the name. Okay. She hints at it. It's like, oh, this person. And the guy kind of is like, yes, I am blah, 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 blah. Woo, this guy's talking through me. And it's like, wow, you're full of shit. She actually did it in recording. He's like, wow, you're full of shit. That's the name I just made up. You fucking asshole. It's like, that was the end of the show from that point on.
Yeah, it's called Cold Reading.
Yeah. I think it was like show called Most Haunted out of the UK.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay. And anything next on your list?
Biba Boys. That was filmed in Canada.
What?
Biba Boys. It's about brown guys who are thugs in Canada.
Moving on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a documentary, by the way?
No, that's not a documentary. That's a drama.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I care to actually check to track here because everything else looks boring.
Actually, speaking of the UK, Sherlock's coming back in January.
About bloody time.
Yeah, but it's the traditional Sherlock.
Yeah, I know, because they were trying to do something different with the series.
I thought it was for Masterpiece Theater for PBS.
You know what? I can't tell anymore. But you know, if they're going to do the whole traditional, Sherlock Holmes bit, I'm all for it because let's face it, the writing on there is pretty brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw the trailer yesterday, and it was it was advertised on PBS, so I'll be really excited to watch that. I think realistically, they haven't come up with any of the new plot for the modern day Sherlock, and these guys were available, so they just did the old Sherlock.
Yeah,
which is hilarious. And they got Cumberbatch and Freeman and Freeman's wife.
Yes.
And I don't know who else they got. Couldn't tell in the trailer.
They mostly got a lot of the cast from Sherlock back for most part. Mm-hmm. Just doing the older, the more, period type stuff. So, it is what it is. They just converted from the modern day version to the period style Sherlock. And let's face it, it's going to be interesting to see how they write it this time.
Yeah. I'm going to we'll see if it's better than the Guy Ritchie one.
Yeah. The Guy Ritchie one, okay, let's face it. As much as Robert Downey Jr. is a fantastic actor,
he pretty much carried the movie.
Yeah. I really hate to say that because let's face it, Jude Law was completely useless in the movie.
Yeah. Well, Jude Law played the character fine. There's nothing wrong with how he played it. Like, Jude Law is a good actor. You just have to give him something to work with. Yeah. And of course, I think at this point, Robert Downey Jr., if you give him nothing, he'll be Robert Downey Jr.
Yep.
Right. And it works. Like, the two movies I liked, I've got them on Blu-ray, and I have nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
Other than they killed Rachel McAdams.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Not that I would care, because Rachel McAdams is okay. She's not hard on the eyes, but let's face it.
Yeah, there's
a reason why. As far as certain things she can act to most of the modern stuff, the period stuff is like,
Yeah, let's be honest. There's a reason why she's kind of a B-list actor.
Well, B-list is being generous.
Well, she's not C yet.
Yeah.
We haven't seen her on a Sharknado movie, so...
Oh, that's like E-list stuff, man. Anyways, moving on.
Finally got all of Merlin. That took forever. Except they messed up with the naming of the two last episodes.
Yeah.
So I thought episode 12 was actually 13. I'm thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah. What did you think of it?
So far, I've only watched 2-3 episodes of the first season, and yeah, it's not bad. It's a rather homoerotic version of the tale, right?
I thought it was historically inaccurate.
The entire story is historically inaccurate.
But,
it's completely a work of fiction.
Let's face it. Okay, so there was a slight thing between Lancelot and Guinevere, but nothing really happened to it because they killed off Lancelot. Okay. Yeah. Sorry for spoilers, people.
Yeah, but doesn't Lancelot die anyways?
If you actually go through the history part, the historical records, okay.
Hang on. This is not historical.
Okay. If you're going by actual historical records, okay, Lancelot doesn't die.
Okay. According to the original story, Lancelot does die.
Yeah, that's okay. If we're talking about the fictional aspect of it, yes, Lancelot does die.
Yeah, the one where we have a dragon and we have a sword in the lake.
Yeah,
and we're talking about
there's a lot of things that the historical versus the fictional. They're very there's a lot of things are parallel. The only reason why they changed a lot of things in there is because, let's face it, they didn't want Guinevere to actually. Okay. The fact that Guinevere when Arthur actually kicks the bucket, okay, Guinevere becomes a nun.
Yeah.
Right? In the historical aspect of it. Okay. And Lancelot trying to woo her back does not succeed, so he becomes a priest.
Okay, hang on a second.
And that's the actual historical...
Hang on. There's an actual historical King Arthur?
Yes.
Because I thought it was fake.
There were some records that actually does verify that there was a King Arthur at some point. Okay, whether that is actually true, there's a lot of things saying yes and a lot of things saying no. There is no, the whole thing of Avon and whatnot. But from what I read, and I could be wrong on this, I could be completely wrong. Okay, then again, there have been variations of the story of King Arthur. Yeah. So for all I know, one version has this, one version of that. And for all I know, the one I think is a historical version could be just a different variation of it. I'm
going to have to look into this because from the longest time, I always known that King Arthur, Merlin, was as real as Snow White. Yeah. Right? But I don't know.
Yeah. So from the version I've read was, Lancelot doesn't die. Okay. Guinevere doesn't die. They both go, they both join the priesthood. As a result, Guinevere joins becomes a nun out of guilt. Because let's face it, her husband is dead. She was cheating on him, and what sort of penance is there other than just going into becoming a nun? Yeah, right. And if in the case of Lancelot, if the woman I love becomes a nun, I'm going to become a priest.
Yeah,
just to be closer to her.
Because I remember that if we're talking about towards near the original story, King Arthur was basically twice the age of
Guinevere.
Guinevere, yeah.
Yes,
yeah, and which is the reason why Guinevere liked Lancelot, because they're the same age. Yeah, whereas King Arthur is 20 years older. Yeah, and died in his 40s.
Yeah. Hey, you're a little wrinkly for me. But and of course, Stars decided to actually do another version of King Arthur.
I've watched too many versions of that thing too.
Luckily, it didn't last a season. But Arthur was exactly the same age as Guinevere. Yeah, yeah. And apparently, Guinevere was already cheating on the guy which could have been her husband. Because and I'm not talking about Arthur. I'm talking about the guy who she was marrying at the time too.
Because considering all the plot they have, it's like, so somehow, you had sex with your sister and then had a kid who was 18, and then your wife happens to be half her age, and that doesn't make any goddamn sense, right? Yeah.
A lot of weird shit going on. Yeah. Okay, so other than Merlin, anything else you've been watching?
CSI Cyber.
Oh, fuck. You really want to make me angry, do you?
I love this show. It is...
Okay, all to say is the worst writing ever since watching the Gamergate version of Law & Order CS, Special Victims Unit. Because let's face it, wow, he leveled up. I'm like, the fuck?
He leveled up.
Like, okay, so I can understand some of the writing being, I guess you could say, close enough to being almost true. But when you say, airplane mode turns off any cellular, blah blah blah, I'm like, oh god, of course it does. Anybody who's smart can figure that out.
Well, my little problem with that is that if you say, okay, would your girlfriend know about airplane mode?
Yes.
Would your father know about airplane mode?
Probably not.
Would your mother?
If I told her.
Little brother?
Yeah.
Little brother's kid.
No, because he's too young to actually have a cell phone.
But chances are the little kid probably knows before you would.
Yes.
Right.
Like,
it's like
there's a good chance that like my nephews will figure out technology by the time they hit 10.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, who probably know how to build 4 computers by then.
Well, I'll be teaching them.
Average Mac user.
Oh God, I can't tell because you know what, Mac users are dumb.
Yeah, so it's like it's clever that somebody read the manual of their cell phone PDF, right?
Yeah.
So it's just basically half the time I watch it because it's like, okay. First off, was it Arquette? What's her name again?
Patricia Arquette.
Patricia Arquette. Yeah. Now, she is an Oscar winner, right? There are signs that you can tell she's a good actress. There are other signs where she's just going through the paces and she looks drunk half the time, and this is a paycheck to her.
Yeah.
like when she's doing the intro, I am a special agent working for the FBI. There are tons of secrets in the deep web. It can happen to you, right? But I don't know. I just got the first 4 episodes. I'm sitting there watching it and I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. Unfortunately, the only other stuff I've been watching is the Top Gear substitute, Jay Leno's Garage.
Yeah.
Which is, considering that I watch his YouTube stuff, just so I can see the nice cars he has in his collection and so forth, and the stuff that he's on TV, yeah, you can tell he's just on when he's on TV. It's like he's acting all funny, smiling, whereas in his, Jay's Garage, yes, that's a nice car, and he lists all the facts for the cars and so forth. But there's still no crazy Top Gear explosions or filmography or so forth.
No, and you know what? It's been coming up on the second year of having no Top Gear?
At least next year we'll have Top Gear Light.
Yeah, and
then we'll have the
I hope it's entertaining.
We'll see. Like Top Gear, we'll see how that goes without the 3 hosts, and then of course the 3 hosts and their Amazon show.
Yep. And then we'll see BBC crying in their sleep, crying their eyes out, saying, "We so fucked this up."
Well, considering they're run by the government, I don't think they care.
Considering how much revenue Top Gear does bring in to the BBC,
I have no idea.
Okay, it is one of the more watched shows
on the planet by women.
It's not just by women.
No,
by car enthusiasts.
The fact that it's a car show where 50 plus of the audience is women.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I understand that part because let's face it,
that's insane.
You have the Davy Jones of the group, who is just Hammond.
No, I think they watch Renee.
Right,
but the simple fact that they have a 50% audience of women watching a car show.
Well, yeah, because it's something they can understand.
Yeah, well, half the time, it's like the car fact is one thing, the cinematography is another, and the fact they go around the world doing really cool stuff.
Yep.
Right?
And it's not boring. The hosts are not boring. They actually have personalities.
Yeah.
And that's the one key thing about Top Gear is the fact that you're not watching it for the cars. The cars are the cool part, right? You're watching for how much bullshit those 3 hosts are doing.
Yeah.
Right? And how much they're getting away with it.
To a point. Yes.
Yeah, to a point. Well, you all know that Jeremy didn't quite get away with most of it, but and that's why he's doing this Amazon show now.
Yeah, considering how much he's pulling for that one, oh my god!
Fuck, yeah, anybody would probably jump on that in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
if he was available.
It just so happens Amazon won the bidding war.
Yeah, and throw money at it. Because let's face it, if you're willing to actually be able to afford to throw money at that, by all means, and Amazon, I wouldn't doubt, had the money for it.
Yeah.
Which is why they won.
Because let's face it, if I have access to Amazon, whatever, and $100 just to watch Top Gear again, I would.
Yep. Oh, I agree.
But yeah, considering Jay Leno is the only car show on TV at the moment, and there's like nothing else. Like Top Gear USA got canceled. Top Gear Australia canceled a long time ago. Top Gear, was it Russia? I can't understand the word they're saying. Top Gear Korea, good luck getting that. And 5th Gear is a joke.
5th Gear is only for the enthusiast that wants the technical aspects of the cars. And that's the thing. That's the only reason why you watch 5th Gear.
To be honest, that's the only part I liked. It's the consumer part that I didn't. It's like, this car is like good on gas, this ugly as shit, blah, 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 boring. It's like, no, I want to see Tiff and what's-his-face drive the sports cars around the ring.
Yep.
Right?
And let's face it, that's, again, if you're a huge enthusiast, you're going to care a lot more of the technical aspects of the car rather than the actual show itself. Mm-hmm. That's the difference between Top Gear and Fifth Gear. The Top Gear is essentially an entertainment show.
Yep.
Right. Fifth Gear is a technical show in regards to the cars.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason why there's a difference. Right. And let's face it, if Top Gear did not take the name Top Gear, Fifth Gear would have been quote unquote Top Gear,
mm-hmm.
right? Because let's face it, Fifth Gear is not really the highest for most cars.
Yeah,
there's a sixth gear for some of them.
Yeah, because I think I don't know if they actually did it, but if the guys from Top Gear saying, "Hey, Clarkson, you want to come over?" Because Clarkson worked with Tiff Liddell.
Yeah, they've
like before for the original Top Gear, right? And of course, if they got together, all of a sudden you have the best show in the world.
Yeah. You have both the good and the entertaining, and you have the technical aspect.
Yeah, you have the funny guys who make the show interesting, and you have basically one of the two best drivers in the world.
Exactly.
Right?
And then you give them personalities finally.
It's like, well, obviously it'll work because, Clarkson will push these guys, right?
Exactly.
Because I think one of the things they did is they actually got Tiff to go on Top Gear and drive some car around and say, the best driver I know, Tiff Liddell, was going against the Stig, and so on.
Yep. And let's face it, and no doubt that if Clarkson were to actually get involved to a certain degree with Fifth Gear, I wouldn't doubt there would be some sort of, hey, we have personality again. Or we have some sort of personality.
So we got to get rid of the tall hipster, right?
Yeah.
We'll keep the woman. We'll keep Jason.
Well, apparently the woman is a very good driver herself.
No, that's why I say she's a good driver.
Yeah,
I'm not saying she's not.
I'm agreeing with you. Keep her because she's a great driver.
Yeah, we'll just get rid of the tall, skinny guy who does the customer review stuff. Let's get rid of him because he's boring as hell.
Oh, exactly. So, once we have something like that, then it's the perfect show.
Yeah, you have 3 of the best drivers in the world and 3 of the big jackasses in the world, and you got a great show, right?
Right.
But that will never happen.
No, because let's face it, Top Gear, Fifth Gear would never, stoop to that level.
No, Fifth Gear can't afford it because all of a sudden you bring 3 guys in who basically the one guy is the entire. I'm pretty sure he gets paid more than all 4 of the other guys.
Oh yeah. But think about it this way. If that were to happen, think about that. Those 3 guys are paying a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get pay raises because, let's face it, he's on there and he basically raises the median of the pay there.
Yeah, I think let's be honest. When Clarkson negotiated his contract, I'm not too sure if it evened out for the other team because basically he get paid 100% and each of them get paid 50% of what he made.
Yeah.
Which is still significant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But hey, I wouldn't doubt that these guys would probably get a raise as a result.
Yeah.
If Clarkson were to actually jump over to Top Gear. But that's just a what if.
Yeah. Yeah. Because actually, you know what? I recently was on a wrestling website, and they showed Hulk Hogan's WCW contract.
Yeah, I heard about that.
You know how much he makes per appearance?
I never got into the nitty-gritty of that article because oh, that's nice. Don't care.
Yeah. Well, I looked at it out of curiosity. For one appearance, he made $250,000.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Because he was the hottest wrestler at the time.
Yeah.
And the fact that he jumped over to WCW, a rival company that threw money at him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I could believe that.
Like $250,000 per appearance, and on a pay-per-view, we get $400,000 to wrestle, by the way,
yep.
right? And this is was it 20 years ago? Jesus Christ.
That was the height of the, the wars between WCW and WWE.
Yeah.
And let's face it, I'm sure those guys in WWE at the time were not being paid anywhere close to that.
Not according to Bret Hart.
Let's face it, they got the exposure they wanted versus Hogan
mm-hmm.
and everybody else in WCW. let's face it. If you took a look at the other guys in WCW, they probably didn't get as huge exposure as Hogan.
Yeah,
they probably got at least maybe a quarter to about a fifth of it based on their tenure in WCW.
Mm-hmm. But one of these days, we'll probably do a wrestling show.
Yeah, you know what? The other day, I saw Hell in a Cell, and I heard that Vince McMahon just flipped over the fact that there was blood.
Yeah, because they're saying, "What are we going to do about the blood?" It's like, it's a pay-per-view. People are paying it. It's on your network. Let's leave it as an R rating.
Yeah, because let's face it, that would no doubt give you good ratings, maybe. Because let's face it, your product has sucked the last few years. Mm-hmm. Because you're trying to bring it down to a PG rating.
Because for money wise, PG rating is pretty much what they can get on whatever, right?
Yeah.
But this is a pay-per-view. It doesn't go on regular TV, right? And half the time when you show it on TV, they are gray and black and white stills.
You black and white it.
Yeah.
Oh noes.
Yeah.
Right.
And considering like how it's a shitty pay-per-view, like,
let's face it, the quality of the pay-per-views have suffered over the last few years, mostly because their contract with USA Network. And I understand, the reason why you went to USA Network because you want the cable exposure. You want the actual, because USA Network exists in almost every household in the United States,
and the fact that it's USA.
Yeah. So I can understand that, but let's face it. Let's go back to the Attitude Era. Everybody keeps on talking about the Attitude Era, right? If you went back to the Attitude Era, I'm sure you'll probably be making as much, if not more, money.
Realistically, that's kind of debatable whether or not how much if they would go back.
Yeah. The only difference is the fact that you won't be making the money off of John Cena as much. But let's face it, it would allow John Cena to go heel.
I don't ever see him go heel anymore.
No, I don't expect him to go heel as long as they're on the USA Network.
Yeah, he basically they'll probably put the title on him one last time so he can break Flair's record. But realistically, he'll have a part in the company. Like he's going to be like the US title or Intercontinental title or something.
Well, they've already strapped the US title on him.
Yeah, they took it off of him, put him on
Del Rio. Yes,
yeah.
I know. I'm well aware of that part because I was watching the pay-per-view.
I was like, oh my god, the rumor was real. He actually left Lucha Underground.
Well, let's face it. I don't think he was being paid as much in Lucha Underground, and I'm sure that the fact that the guy that Del Rio slapped no longer works for the company.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah. And obviously, WWE actually, went to him and said, look, we understood this was not your fault. And we understand why you were angry and we're going to apologize for it.
Here's some money. Yeah. We're going to give you a heavy belt to wear. Yeah. And we're going to, do this weird, realistically, they need a top-tier Hispanic wrestler.
Yeah, because let's face it, Mysterio's no longer in the company.
Mysterio, I don't know if he's coming back, right?
Mysterio will not be coming back. You know why? Because he's failed so many drug tests that they're like, we understand why you're taking these drugs to recover quickly. Yeah. But, you're also failing those tests because of the fact.
Yeah, but that's realistically, you just have to not do that for 6 months and you're back, right?
Yeah.
But we'll have to see on that. And the thing is, Rey Mysterio, they screwed up on him big time.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, because basically, here's the thing. Daniel Bryan, you substitute him with anybody, they will boo it. You substitute him with Rey Mysterio, they booed Rey Mysterio, and they hated him ever since. You substitute Daniel Bryan with Roman Reigns, they booed him ever since.
Yep.
Right? It's just like, yes, you don't want Daniel Bryan to wrestle because of the concussion. It's fine. He's doing other stuff for WWE, but they want him on TV because they love the guy, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I think they love him just as much as they hate Cena.
Yeah.
Right.
He's the anti-Cena.
Yeah, because he's a guy who worked hard. He's short. He can wrestle. He's funny.
Yeah.
Right? Because of the Kane, Daniel Bryan stuff.
Yep.
Right? Bedazzled.
Oh, of course.
And of course, the weird part is they somehow got linked to the Bellas.
Because he's dating one of the Bellas.
He married one, and Cena's dating the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I watch Total Diva because I like to hurt myself.
That punishment. Do you watch the Kardashians either? Also,
no.
Okay.
At
least I have some sort of respect for you now.
No, I can't stand the Kardashians. I can't stand.
I sat through a marathon for about 2 hours worth of that shit, and I'm thinking, "Fuck, really? This is what they're famous for? This bullshit."
I watched 5 minutes and I wanted to punch my computer.
And I didn't have the luxury of punching my computer. You know why? Because I was watching on TV. I actually sat through and watched TV, and I'm thinking, okay, all right, I'll just put it in the background so it'll be a lot less annoying rather than watching. Nope, not working.
Not working.
Change the channel.
No.
I'd rather watch the Food Channel.
Yeah, because Food Channel's good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched the Divas thing and thinking, wow, this is faker than the wrestling show. That's amazing. But I don't know if you caught NXT yet, but they're doing no real favors to Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, I think they're making her earn it.
No, I think the fact that she has to wrestle Nikki Bella is the problem. Because I saw her wrestle in NXT with Sasha Banks and Bayley, and those were like legit amazing matches. In fact, Sasha Banks and Bayley, if you ever get a chance to watch the Iron Man match, that was amazing. For a women's wrestling match, this was better than most of the men's matches.
The problem is that they're still featured the Bellas. And I think to a certain degree the Bellas kind of draw, but at the same time, they're not wrestlers.
No, they
and that's the
are
problem.
Sloppy. They miss their Mr. Q's. They can barely talk.
Yeah. I think they should just relegate them to, I don't know, interviewer status. Because let's face it.
No, let's not do that.
Because let's face it, they're not really making the product any better. And that's a problem. The WWE will always stick with the product that will not make it better, despite the fact their wishes to say, let's eke it through. They'll get better over time. Yes, some wrestlers can do that.
The New Day.
But not the women's division, where basically you have two girls that are holding the division back so badly.
Yeah, you have basically two wrestlers that are amazing, which when they get to wrestle, you don't give them enough time.
Yeah.
Which is the redhead, Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Right. And then, of course, you have Charlotte Flair and Paige, which at this point, I'm kind of I don't know. And, of course, you got the rest of the supermodel turned wrestler.
Yeah. And again, they got to stop doing those.
Yeah.
They really, really got. There are some, wrestlers that kind of look like supermodels. Mm-hmm. And let's face it, if they got, say, teenage beautiful people and brought them over, sure. Because at least they can wrestle.
Yeah, they just have to put more clothes on them.
Yeah. And they got to give that division a lot more exposure than just
the 5-10 minutes they have.
If any.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about Old Man Taker then.
Okay, so, yeah, I think he's going to be retiring soon.
yeah, that's why he's actually getting his last paychecks.
Yeah.
Because he's going to go over to, Survivor Series?
Yeah. The Wyatt family's probably the last group he's going to be fighting ever.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I can look forward to that. Because let's face it, he's obviously turned given the torch over to Lesnar.
Yeah,
as the monster of the company.
Yeah, because I think he's more responsible for Lesnar coming back, because Lesnar showed up on one of the UFCs saying you want to do this, which is kind of a BS thing.
Yep.
But I think he's responsible for negotiating him back to the WWE. So we can lose.
No, Taker has always liked Lesnar.
Yeah.
Right. Taker has always given Lesnar his due, because let's face it, he has a certain level of talent. I wish he didn't piss it away in his first run.
Actually, Lesnar and John Cena are Taker's boys, right?
Yeah.
But as for Lesnar pissing it away, realistically,
let's face it, his match with Goldberg was less than stellar. In fact, it was painful to watch. Okay. Cringe-worthy.
Let's be honest here. We're talking about Goldberg here, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's reasons why his matches last less than a minute.
Yeah, because he can't fucking wrestle.
Yeah, but let's face it. Lesnar can work if you have somebody who's good. Like, him and Eddie Guerrero was good.
Yeah. Him and Eddie, him and Cena.
Benoit, and so forth.
Kurt Angle.
Yeah, but those are good wrestlers, right? Yeah. One guy's a legit wrestler, Kurt Angle, and who learned how to make a good match, and everybody else knows how to do a good match. But we're talking about Goldberg, who inadvertently gave Bret Hart the concussion, ending his wrestling career, right?
Yep, and because thus ended up being a stroke because as a result, it just ended his career.
Yeah. But I'm not surprised because at that point that was his last match, and that was Goldberg's last match, and they didn't care. Like I was sitting there watching it and saying, "This is boring." Like
this is like I remember sitting in a theater for that one and saying, "Fuck this shit," what the hell?
Yeah, because all they had to do was just do like maybe 20 power moves, and one guy gets the last one and win. That's all they had to do, right?
Yeah,
but.
Yeah. There was 2 minutes of posturing. It's like, let's get to the match.
Yeah.
Get to the match. Come on, man. Let's get to the fucking match.
It's like, rest hold. Oh, they know they're pissing everybody off. Rest hold. Okay, rest hold. More rest hold.
Yeah.
But then again, Brock Lesnar did actually, other than his, stomach virus he did go to the UFC and won.
Yeah.
Like, he lost his first match and somehow got a title match the second round, and he won.
Yep.
He beat Randy Couture. He was dominant for like 2-3 matches, then got a severe stomach virus, and that was it. But, he is a genetic freak.
And he wrestled for his title again, and then basically, and then the last match, he pretty much lost the title.
Yeah.
Which basically gave him time to actually rest up and make a few decisions on the next move of his career.
But let's be honest, considering how much money he was making just to say, I'm Brock Lesnar, right? Yeah. Like, I think he was getting paid like, was it $200,000 per appearance?
Yeah.
Right. And 5 appearances, right?
Yeah. So, he negotiated himself into a very nice contract.
Yeah.
And let's face it, Lesnar learned how to finally wrestle a match, right? And as long as he got somebody who can carry him to a certain degree, but let's face it, there are some people who can carry a match and some people who can't carry a match. And it's quite obvious when you see a match where he can't be carried very well.
Well, let's face it, Brock Lesnar, look at the guys when he came back, he fought John Cena, who now I have to say he's a great wrestler, knows how to carry a match. Then he was Seth Rollins. I don't know.
Roman Reigns did okay. Roman still has a lot to learn.
The Roman Reigns part was bad until Seth kind of went in.
Yeah, and then I think they realized they needed to actually throw Seth in there.
Well, they planned it because
because they weren't going to let Lesnar be pinned, which is kind of bullshit.
Well, no. I knew that was going to happen because the Money in the Bank thing is only good for a year, right?
Yeah.
But and then of course you have Taker, which let's be honest. He can still go.
Yeah, the only guy that will allow they'll allow Lesnar to be pinned on by is Taker.
Yeah,
right. And let's face it, Taker is not is not a very selfish guy. He'll put over guys, right?
Except CM Punk.
Except for CM Punk, because to a certain degree, CM Punk did piss him off.
It's like, well, how come I have to wear a suit and John Cena doesn't have to wear a suit? Because John Cena sucked my dick and you didn't. That's why he can wear his little shorts and you have to wear a suit. Because you're a champion. You have to wear a suit. Oh, you don't want to wear a suit? Vince, I want the title.
Yeah. Well, that and, like Cena earned his stripes, right? Daniel Bryan earned his stripes. But let's face it, Daniel Bryan didn't really piss off anybody.
Other than the choking the Arab guy,
that was Joey Styles. That was an Arab guy.
Okay, he was brown, but it wasn't Joey Styles. Joey Styles.
Because when they did the whole Nexus thing,
that wasn't Joey Styles.
No, I thought it was Joey Styles.
He looked like Joey Styles, but Joey Styles basically, after he did the ECW thing, went to the website and ran the website.
Yeah,
and he didn't do a show back on TV. It's like he's still on the website.
Yeah.
But that was he looked Albanian, so to speak. Crew cut. I forgot his name, but anyways, they was choking that because it was somebody's idea.
Yeah.
But they resembled too much of the, choking thing in the Middle East, which I think pissed some Linda McMahon's friend off.
Ugh.
And then Linda McMahon had to get him fired. And apparently, I heard that one story is, okay, WWE says, go do a bunch of house shows, we'll bring you back. The other story is Daniel Bryan had to go apologize to WWE for doing that because they told him to do that. Which, it's air of kayfabe or BS, whatever.
Kayfabe, yeah.
Yeah, but he's back and, he was, better than ever. Because I thought when they teamed up with Kane, it was going to be like, ugh, death nail, right? But no.
Anytime you get somebody teaming up with Kane, it gets better, and he proves that he can carry it.
Yeah,
let's face it. Kane and the Hurricane.
That was hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kane and X-Pac.
That was good too.
Yeah. So Kane can carry another guy and make him better.
Yeah. Well, as for wrestling wise,
that's another story.
Yeah. But as for comedy. Surprisingly, it works.
Yes,
because I know Jake. I watch a lot of his. I'm assuming, what's it? He does a lot of economy videos.
Yeah,
and the guy is very smart.
Yeah. If you watch him in See No Evil,
I did not.
That's his. That's his
I know.
sort of thing.
Yeah,
like the first movie was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you got the Skoska sisters involved, and they said, "Well, let's make them into let's convert this into a slasher film,
okay,
and make him a classic slasher." Mm-hmm. He cured it very well. In fact, they were quite surprised that they did a lot of stuff in one take, right? And they're like, "Well, yeah, because in the WWE, you don't get many takes, when you're live,
especially when you're live."
Yeah, so they're like, "Oh, this turned out very well."
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's do this again sometime. And the WWE is actually willing to actually work with the sisters again on another project if they actually want to do another project.
Yeah, because WWE wants to get their movie company up and running properly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they decided to actually go and get their network up and running, which, let's face it. When was the last time you actually heard of a good WWE movie?
The Halle Berry one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, again, I Halle Berry, WWE. When the fuck was this?
2 years ago, she played a 911 caller or 911 dispatcher. Yeah, and
who was in the movie?
Halle Berry, and somebody
again.
I can't even remember the title.
Yeah. So, again, WWE should have been focusing on the movies rather than doing the fucking network.
Yeah.
Because that was about, 2 years ago when they brought up the network?
Well, I'm kind of thinking, realistically, I would probably get them to focus on the network, too. Because there's no other way for you to watch into the old WCW stuff. Yeah. Other than getting the network and getting the old matches and the ECW stuff, right?
I can agree with if you want to play a lot of the old WCW matches and WWC stuff, and a lot of the AWA stuff, because let's face it, they have the rights to that too, I believe.
Yep.
And the WCCW, right? Because let's face it, if you hold the rights to a lot of the old stuff. WWE is willing to pay you for that shit, and because that stuff is gold, especially if you're the classic stuff. The problem is, there's not a lot. They don't really do too much of it, and they focus on the original program that they're making, which I'm liking. They're painful to watch.
Yeah, I don't have access to the WWE network, but if I were to run it, I would run, okay, we have Raw, then on Tuesday you have the WCW stuff, like go from episode 1 and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then you have ECW. And then, of course, you have your original programming, like the Old Man House or Legends House.
Yeah.
You have your whatever Total Divas. You have the pay-per-views, SmackDown, NXT pay-per-views, and so forth. And then you have your full running. But I don't know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Because I watched the Legends House. Other than it's your standard reality show bit and Pat Patterson coming out as gay, which is really no surprise to anybody.
Yeah.
And you have Total Divas, which is schlock, right?
Yeah.
Right. But then you have NXT, which is the only reason to get the network.
Yeah.
Right. Because let's face it, if you like wrestling and you like proper storylines,
NXT reminds me a lot of the old
ECW.
No, NWA.
Okay.
And the old NWA's WWE stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, that's kind of, you kind of harken back to those days where basically that was actual pure, wrestling.
Yeah, not sports entertainment.
Yeah.
Mainly because this is like I was kind of thought it's William Regal and Dusty Rhodes thing.
Yeah.
But it was actually Paul Levesque's thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or Hunter Hearst Helmsley, which is okay. I can understand why it's so good, and I understand why the women's division is so good, and so forth, right?
Yeah.
But I think we've rambled long enough about random stuff.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back on topic.
What was the topic we're talking about?
I think we're going into TV.
TV?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. CSI Cyber. How good is that?
Okay. Kind of going, okay. So basically, Flash is kind of progressing.
Mm-hmm.
Arrow is progressing. We were talking about, Legends of Tomorrow, and it's like, well, one of the characters died, so how can, she come back? They're pushing that part right now on Arrow.
Yeah.
So, spoilers for anybody, and I don't give a fuck. Yeah, she went into the Lazarus Pit. Duh.
Didn't they show that in the trailer and ruin it for everybody?
Well, let's face it. The only solution to bring her back to life was throwing her into the Lazarus Pit to begin with. And seeing that they've already previewed the Legend of the Tomorrow to begin with, Katie Lotz, quite obviously went into the Lazarus Pit because that's the only way you can bring somebody back from the dead in DC.
Well, other than... Hang on. Okay. DC now. Comic books. We're going to ask about that. How does magic work in DC?
It's actual magic.
So can't you just go resurrection spell to somebody?
To a certain degree, if they could do that, they would have done that.
So,
keep in mind though, magic does not involve resurrection.
Okay.
Resurrection is a completely different thing altogether,
mm-hmm.
right? In DC Universe, resurrection does not you do not do a spell for resurrection.
Okay,
right?
Mm-hmm.
You do spells to ward things off, or to attack, or to defend, but it is never to actually or to communicate. But it was never to actually intend to actually bring something back to life.
Fair enough,
right? That is the DC Universe. In a certain degree. They're kind of bringing Katie Lotz back,
mm-hmm.
and the best way they got to do it is, and they've already done the preview for it for the next episode of Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing Constantine into the picture, and he's saying, "Oh yeah, her soul's not in the body."
So hey, what? I heard Constantine.
Constantine,
like
Matt Ryan, Constantine.
Really?
Yes.
Shit! Now I gotta watch Arrow. Fuck!
Because they're bringing him into this episode, into the next episode.
Yeah, I was kind of super pissed they canceled the series.
Oh fuck yeah! I have to agree. I was livid when they canceled the series. It's like fuck.
It was getting
Ryan
good.
Constantine.
It was getting good.
Yeah.
Fuck! Now I gotta watch Arrow. Like, God damn it!
Oh, the only reason why she's like that is because there's no soul in her body. So we now have to actually resoul her body. Something to that degree. I'm like, shit, this is awesome. And that's only in the preview.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
The fact that he's talking and he's like, "Oh, there's no soul in her body," blah blah. If they gave him a slight Jamaican accent, and he was dressed as Constantine, fuck, it would still be awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Because Matt Ryan is fucking Constantine.
Yeah.
Let's face it. He basically made the fucking series.
Yeah. Or Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Well, okay. Keanu did his version of it, right? which is fine because let's face it. They never delved into the backstory of Constantine.
Yeah.
Right. Constantine was not American.
No, he's
in
British.
The movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Constantine in the comics was British.
Yep.
Right.
And everything was based in England.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So basically, when they did the TV version of Constantine, they did the whole backstory of him and being British and everything else.
Yeah, but you got to go to America because that's where all the evil is, right?
Well, of course, because let's face it, it's NBC.
Yeah.
Right. So, so now that they're kind of bringing him into to this universe,
mm-hmm.
to the quote Arrow universe, it's
mm-hmm.
like, okay, so what else you guys are going to do now? Because let's face it, the talk of Hellblazer has been hot and heavy,
mm-hmm.
but nothing's materialized. Let's see if you guys are going to bring Hellblazer back after this now. Because let's face it, if you're going to bring Constantine to this network,
yeah,
okay, because now it's confirmed there is a crossover now.
Yeah.
Right? If you're to do this, if you're supposed to do Constantine under Hellblazer on the CW, I would fucking watch it.
Yeah.
Big time. Because let's face it, NBC fucked the dog on this one.
Of course. It's just like they do with everything else.
Yeah. Well, they own Sci-Fi after all. So, again, they're fucking the dog on Stargate too. But let's face it, Stargate Universe was getting good.
Stargate is still around?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
So they canceled it like a couple years ago.
Of course.
But of course, they fucked the dog on that one too
mm-hmm.
because it was getting good. Now they plan on doing a reboot. So I'm thinking, well, if you're going to reboot it, bring back fucking Stargate Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because let's face it, I understand. Not the same, if you're going to do a reboot version of Stargate, okay, I understand it's not going to be in the same quote-unquote universe
mm-hmm.
as Stargate Universe because that's of the old series. But let's face it, people still loved it.
Yeah.
Right? There was still a following of fans that liked Stargate, that followed Stargate Universe, and they found it nice and gritty.
Mm-hmm.
Like Battlestar Galactica type gritty.
Yeah.
Right? And they loved it.
Mm-hmm. Actually, Battlestar, is that a series I should watch?
Yeah. Actually, you should watch it because I liked it.
Okay.
Right? And of course, that got a lot of people really, really famous pretty quickly too because let's face it, Katie Sackhoff. Like, if you didn't know who Katie Sackhoff was, you'll know who Katie Sackhoff was after watching Battlestar.
Unfortunately, after Battlestar, we don't know anything about her.
Yeah. Well, she hasn't done anything since Battlestar.
Other than what's that thing?
But she did Bionic Woman for a little bit.
Okay.
Right, which was short-lived.
Yeah.
Let's see, Grace Park. If you didn't know who she was, other than Officer Konokawa on Hawaii 5-0. Now you'll know who the hell she is after watching Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, well, the only person I know from Battlestar Galactica is, what is it? It's a Scion?
Tricia Helfer?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's Canadian, right?
Yeah.
One season of Canada's Canada's Top Model, and of course she's the voice of Edie for the Mass Effects.
She's
series.
Also the voice of what's her name? On StarCraft 2.
StarCraft 2. Oh, Kaden.
No. The girl that became Dessert Queen.
Sarah Kerrigan. Sorry.
Kerrigan, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know why I blanked out on that.
Yeah. Makes sense considering how long ago was the first one that came out?
Oh, that was ancient. It's years ago.
Yeah, more than a decade.
But,
right.
What else am I forgetting here? But yeah, Tamako Pinkett, he's done a few things here and there. The most recent one that you may have seen him in is Supernatural. He was one of the angels briefly. He did Dollhouse, the very short-lived Joss Whedon series. Again.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I know of him from Dollhouse. I think he was in Superman. The last Superman movie.
Yeah, vaguely remember. No, was he? I can't remember.
According to IMDb, he was in Superman.
Yeah, because it was a Canadian production, right? Sorry, Man of Steel. Sorry. If you said Man of Steel, then yes. Okay.
Man of Steel. He was also voicing Justice League God and Monsters Chronicles. He played Big. Whatever that is. But yeah, I see here.
I wouldn't doubt it's an Ocean Studios or some sort of local production here in Vancouver with voices. Because I think Planet Hulk was done here in Vancouver.
You'd be surprised what is done here.
Yeah.
Anyways, Battlestar Galactica. Okay, I'll put that on my list to watch after I watch Farscape. Because I own Farscape, and I finally opened it and saying how many discs is in there.
Yeah, did you get the one that is post ADV productions?
Farscape?
Yes.
The British sci-fi one?
That was Australian sci-fi.
Okay, Australian sci-fi.
So the rights holder for ADV the rights holder for doing the DVDs was for a group called ADV.
Yeah.
If you know what ADV is or AD Vision,
I do.
They were the group that is now no longer in production.
Basically, the one I have doesn't have the finale movie.
Okay, so that's for a different company then, because ADV went defunct before that.
Okay, yeah, because it was selling for around $200 in Future Shop and Best Buy when they were around, and I bought it for Costco for $42. The entire box set.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
because when ADV actually had the rights to it, that price was significantly high, and the amount of DVDs in there was not enough.
Yeah.
You know how back in the day when they did produce some of the anime shows, and they had like 1 or 2 episodes on a disc?
Yeah, for, what is it, $60-$70?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty much the same thing with Farscape.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it and was like, it's the entire collection. All right, I will go. The problem is
it's a different company that now owns the rights to it, which pretty much I think they picked it up after a lot of people picked the bones of ADV, because ADV was not just one small company; it was a bunch of small, a couple of different companies into one, and then basically a couple companies came in and picked the bones of it, essentially.
Oh, Google, you failed again.
Yeah,
yeah, picked that up for cheap. Well, I gotta watch the entire thing through because somebody told me that that doesn't have the finale movie, which we'll see on that. But I don't know. I think I have a couple of seasons, and plus it's DVD, and I can't stand DVD.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I at this point in my life, I prefer digital file. I'll own the original Blu-ray, but I also want a digital file because it's just so much easier to fast forward and so forth. Which is why I need more hard drive space.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty low myself too.
Yeah.
For what I do.
Even though I bought a freaking Blu-ray burner and a ton of Blu-ray discs.
You know, I got a Blu-ray burner myself. I don't have Blu-ray discs.
They're cheap.
It's not the fact that I can go buy it in cheap. I just don't care.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird. It's like, do I want to back this up? Like, in the past, I was adamant. I have this huge bookshelf.
I think it's more to do with the fact that I need to actually sort the shit on my hard drives first before I actually go ahead. Because let's face it, a lot of the content I have is RAR'd. And I have to remove some of them.
Oh my god. Oh dear.
Yeah. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, oh, that's completed. Awesome, cool. Let's take a look. Let's take a look and see if it's one whole file or several different RARs. It's several different RARs. Fuck. All right. Well, unRAR it and then throw it in the directory, and I'll just watch it for now. And then, well, since I got to seed a few things, leave it alone. Of course, once I hit my 1 month thing, okay, go ahead and delete the thing on the torrent, and okay, I should really go into the file. I should really go into the directory and delete the RARs. I'll do it later. Again, procrastination.
I am that's the one thing I'm always like well sorted, because like when I get like say the Big Bang Theory, I get it, I rename it with the like name, season, episode, and then the name of the episode and what quality, 720p and so forth, and put it in the season 8 folder or season 9, and then I have the full set. And then, of course, whether or not I keep it is another story. And
I do that too, right? I actually have a whole folder, and I have seasons, and I have, season 1 will have all, season 1 through that. And it will be, yes, okay, maybe I download from different, I guess you could say companies that I've uploaded the file, right? But all in which I try to make sure that they're all numerically correct. And on top of that, if I'm looking at weird, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just rename the file and then boom, done. Okay, great. Moving on, right? Unfortunately, I'm too lazy to do that sometimes. So,
there's a reason why I spent.
I think when I was on vacation, I spent most of my time doing that.
There's a reason why I spent so much money on my mechanical keyboard, so I can do that stuff. The only problem is all you hear from my room is clang, 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 clang.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes. Then that's kind of the reason why I had this absorbent amount of anime. I think the last time I checked, it is 4.2 terabytes.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you go for 720p and 1080p.
Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah. Well, I think this is probably one of our longer podcasts. We will end it here. Thank you for joining us, and we will talk to you next time.
Oh, yes. One more thing. Always have mushy peas with your fish and chips.
Mushy peas.
Mushy peas.
With the fish and chips.
Yeah.
Fish and chips.